All right, dude. Cool. So I'm just gonna have everything recording. You know,
Yeah.
I kind of want it to be like, you know, like you feel like there's no cameras around.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
um, yeah. Cool, dude. So yeah, again, like I kind of want to do like I kind of want to build like a timeline of kind of when. Do you remember the first show you ever like decided you're gonna go to?
Well, it was Panic at the Disco, Cobra Starship, and Jack's Mannequin, and damn, I
Hold
think
on
it
one
was.
one second. Could
Okay.
you could you like rephrase that and say the first show I ever went to was and then continue from there?
All right.
Cool.
The first show I ever went to was with Panic at the Disco, Cobra Starship, and Jack's Mannequin. I think it was in 2017. My best friend at the time, his sister paid for the ticket, but got it for me as a birthday gift. So it was a surprise. And before that, when I was younger, I just had a phobia of like loud music for the longest time. So I didn't go to concerts. I had a chance. My first concert originally could have been a big lowrider show, and with Snoop Dogg and all the old school rappers, but I was scared of loud music for the longest time, and I don't know why. Then my best friend's like, "Hey man, like you can't have this fear anymore. You need to experience this." And his sister, she bought the tickets for me and him. And I remember all the merch. They had a lot of cool merch, and I love merch these days. But back in the days, I just bought a poster, and I'm really upset. I think it's a cool Panic at Disco poster, but they had cool orange gloves. I've been looking for years. I can't find those gloves, and it's upsetting because they look really nice. But over the years, I was lucky to meet the singer Jack's Mannequin, and then a few members of Cobra Starship, the singer and guitarist, and then a few ex-members of Panic at the Disco. So that was really surreal, and it really meant something to me because that's for show. That's what started it all. And it was like 2017 it was Gila River Arena, but originally it was called Jami.com Arena at the time. And I was so nervous, and I was just shaking when I was going to the show. I was like so scared. I'm like, man, I'm so scared. At that time, I ain't had no earplugs because my first show, and then once they started going on, like first band, I'm like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like this is amazing. Like these guys jamming. Like what? Like this is crazy. They're jamming, and then Pan Disco got on. I'm like, man, this. They had like the little circus themed tent and everything, and dancers, and it was remarkable. And I wasn't filming anything at the time because I did not have a good camera to film, and plus it's my first show, so I wasn't that guy then. And I didn't even try to wait to meet them at the show.
What year was that again?
2017, I believe.
2017. So like
2007 actually, not 17. 2007.
cool. Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say that wasn't that long ago. 2007. So your friend kind of helped you build this courage to
Yeah.
go to the show. What exactly was it about the loud music that you didn't like? Was it like did it give you anxiety and stuff like that, or
It
just made you
did. It did at
uncomfortable?
first. Like when I was younger, like I don't know. Like it just scared me. I don't really know why. It's just one of my fears I had. And then my best friend's sister. He bought the tickets for. Well, she bought the tickets for both of us, and then I went to the concert, and then after I heard the first band, I was a little scared, but the same band, I'm like, all right, I get this now. I'm past this. This is fun. And I remember how the seats, it was so loud you could feel the seats shaking, and I'm like, man, this is cool. I like this. It's like being on a theme park ride, even though I don't like roller coasters, but I love 4D movies though a lot.
Cool. So okay, so you had your friend kind of build you this courage to go
Yeah.
to the show. You went, you had a blast. Do you remember what show you went to after that? Like what was I'm
I
sure
would
you
say the show I remember too after that. I mean, there were a lot of shows, but I would say specifically there may have been two Pacific ones. So it was like at a Christian church. I don't remember, and it was I think the Somerset or This Great Escape. They were local bands, but the Somerset at the time weren't famous. They were just starting out, and I think one of them was at a venue, and I think the other one was like some barbecue at someone's house, and there were other like Christian rappers and Christian bands there. I think like another band like 2 Days Tomorrow, something like that, and This Great Escape, and then I think the Somerset. I think Hello Hollywood were there, but yeah, and then I think around there at the same time, my official show though, like where I started like, you know, getting autographs and stuff was probably like, it had to be midnight for a minute at like the Fix that's now closed in Phoenix. It was like a small art gallery. Like you go inside and it was like a garage, and like you just walk in and there's all these pieces of art, graffiti and all that, and it's small, like Black Veil Brides, you know, everybody played it, and it was this Midnight for a Minute, Anzo Wickel, Affair at the Altar, which is the current singer of Palisades. That was his original band, and there were a few other local bands there, and I think it was the first show where I, you know, did autographs. I still didn't have my autograph book at that time though, but I did autographs and like photos with them and stuff like that.
Cool. What made you like decide to like start doing that to it seems like you have an interest in like recording and documenting,
Yeah.
you know, like getting signatures, you know, having a piece of paper that said this person was here, you know, on this
Yeah.
date, and you like to take pictures with the bands. What made you want to start start kind of doing that?
Well, you know, I got one of my autograph books here. So ironically, the first time I did autographs was really because of my mom, you know? So, like, I think the funniest thing about that is I went to my first Warped Tour, and my mom's like, Brad, I'm like, what? You ain't gonna have anything for their signatures. Like, you might not have money for merch. I'm like, oh, shoot, so what I'm gonna do? She's like, well, I'm gonna take you to, like, I think it was Borders or Barnes & Noble, one of those places, and she's like, well, you know, just buy this. I'm like, why? She's like, well, you know, have them, you know, so when they sign it, they can have something to sign, and they could put their bands, their old bands, you know, their set list, you know, their companies and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay. And, you know, she started for me, and I think that was around, I'm going to say maybe 2009 was my first Warped Tour, and that was, it used to be called Cricket Wireless Pavilion, now it's called Action Pavilion, and originally was Blockbuster Pavilion. But yeah, that's when I did my first autograph book, and I still have it because I have all my autograph books. Like, I don't throw these away, I don't sell these, I'm not trying to hawk these off of eBay. They mean a lot to me because I've seen some of these musicians blow up, and it's like, it's crazy, you know, it's very crazy, and then sometimes, you know, other people don't have this, so to me it's kind of like, it's like you have a piece of historical, like, artifact, and I love history, you know, in grade school, that's my favorite subject was history, and I really loved the whole pharaohs and the whole Roman Empire and all that. And then really what started with the interviews, that came later, I think maybe 2000, it's still around the same time, but it came at Clubhouse, and I was just kind of like, at first, I was just kind of like showing, hey, I met these musicians, I want document proof. So I would be like, I would, you know, I'd get their autographs, but I would like have it on film, and I'd be like, people, you know, somebody on YouTube, they comment something to me, and they're like, well, hey, this is not a meet and greet, because I'll say, oh, this is a meet and greet, you know, meeting this band, you know, I don't know, maybe Stick to Your Guns, or until maybe it was one of those bands, and it was on the YouTube video comment, and they're like, well, this is not meet and greet, like, you keep saying all these videos are meet and greets, you know, like with Abandoned All Ships, you know, Sleeping Sirens, all those kind of bands, in, you know, Within the Ruins, and I was doing, you know, videos, I kept saying meet and greet, and then I asked them some questions, like, hey, you know, like, just typical things, like, who are your inspirations, you know, who's your favorite band, how'd you get the band name, and, you know, what, the name of your first demo song, the first song, you know, those are like my first questions, and then somebody told me, well, hey, this is an interview on YouTube, and then I looked it up, you know, probably the next year later, like 2010, to understand what that was, and what I did was, I started getting better and better. I started, you know, just keeping it serious, you know, serious topics like your inspirations, your favorite childhood memory, you know, just basic stuff like that, you know, the recording process, the mics they use, and just stuff about that. And that's how it started out, like around 2009, and then I guess you would say 2000.
I have to hit record again. So,
Oh.
so you were saying, so you started asking them basic questions,
Yeah.
right? You want to start from there?
Yeah.
So yeah, like what kind of questions would you ask them?
I would ask them like how the recording process is, their favorite band, and then I would ask them how you get the band name and the first song you ever made. You know, pretty much that's, and you know, and their inspirations, and that's pretty much it. That's all I pretty much asked them to begin with. But then around the 2011-13 area, I started getting more better because, you know, I don't know, some random fan pulled me over. They're like, hey, you know, like, your questions are good, but you gotta, like, check out this dude. Like, there's this dude on YouTube. And I'm like, who? It's like, look at Brian Stars. Like, look at that dude. Like, look at his questions. Like, you need to be a little different. Like, your questions so far, they're just kind of like, they're boring. I'm like, wait, what? And they're like, you know, check out Brian Stars. And I'm like, well, all right, yeah. So I put up, you know, on YouTube, and I looked up on the phone. I'm like, whoa, this dude got cool questions. And it's like, I can't copy this dude. So what am I gonna do? So then, you know, that's where it started. You know, then maybe, you know, I had like still a little trial there. You know, it was kind of not. It was kind of rough at first with the interviews. You know, because I didn't know how to do it. So I would kind of like try to do all the, you know, the regular questions, like, you know, the basic stuff, and then I would like maybe have two pop culture things, like, you know, maybe like, you know, superhero, and, you know, maybe their favorite movie, you know, stuff like that probably were like a few of the random first questions I had. But then, like, I think 2015 to now, I keep progressing it, and you know, the crazy thing is, like, you know, I usually when I'm at shows, I carry a phone on me, because, you know, some interviewers, like, they have like, you know, they have like a piece of paper, and it's like I try to have my questions on my phone so that I have it organized.
That's just a list of questions you have?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. And
yeah.
you bring something like that with you to do these interviews?
Yeah, because, you know, I can't remember all my questions, you know, and the funny thing is this phone, like, you know, this is very old, you know, I don't really like make calls on this, you know. I just like, I bring it to me every show, and I have my questions on there, because I think it's better organized than just a million pieces of paper that would go flying everywhere, and I just have it here, and then, like, you know, I'll be like using, like, at first I started with the camera, but then, you know, I started using, you know, the cell phone I had at the time, and I would just be like, you know, this, and then I'd be asking, you know, questions, and I literally would, like, you know, look at them, and I'd be like, first, you know, before I started off, you know, I'd be having them, like, autograph something. So while they're autographing something, I'd be like, all right. So, like, you know, what superhero would you be? And then they would be like, well, you know, it would be Batman. And then, you know, I would go on to the next one, and I'd be like, something like, you know, would you be a satellite, solar panel, or space station? And then, you know, they'd be like, well, you know, it's kind of hard to choose, but, you know, maybe a solar panel might be. And then they would be like, you know, I would go to, like, my next question, and I'd be like, I'd start, you know, getting more personal, like, hey, you know, what's your worst fear? And it'd be like, well, some would be, like, really honest, and some would be like, man, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to be into one of the worst fears. And some people would be like, I'm not scared of nothing. Some people like, oh, spiders, claustrophobia, planes. But it's crazy, because there's this one UK band, I don't remember the name for the life of me, but it was at Market Theater, and they said they were scared of planes, but they had to take a plane to get to the show. So it was kind of crazy they were scared of planes, because they literally had to take a plane to get to the show. And, you know, it's crazy to have that phobia, because, like, you know, as a musician, you gotta get past that phobia, you know, and unfortunately, I've never been on a plane myself yet, and that's definitely one thing I am scared of, but I will have to get past the phobia, because you have to travel when you're a musician. You can't just stay in one place. I mean, you know, I barely started traveling places, started 2019, you know, outside Arizona. You know, I started going to Vegas for days and Days of Vegas festival, and that was a beautiful opportunity. I was so close to Nargar, he's right there, but like so far. I'm like, Nargar, like a lot of people say my questions, you know, they're very similar to him, and the knowledge I have about the bands and musicians is kind of similar to him, and at the same time, we kind of got a similar style, and it's like, I love Nargar. I think he's one of the greatest people in the industry. I would love to be interviewed by him. But yeah, I mean, I'm definitely inspired by Nargar and, you know, No Jumper, and they're both really, to me, respectable people at their craft. I love their craft, but they really start out with nothing, you know. But the crazy thing is, like Nargar, we're very similar, because even though he does get all the media passes, he still keeps it legit. Like, he is still backstage. He's not usually in the studio. He's actually out there in the shows. And that's what I do. I'm out there in the shows. I'm, you know, backstage sometimes. I'm waiting by the tour bus, or I just might be in a meet and greet line, you know, or pay for the meet and greet, you know, to do that. And, you know, that's how Nargar and me are very similar, you know. And sometimes it's nice to get 10 minutes out of them, but sometimes, you know, maybe you might only get 5 minutes, but you really got to be happy with what you get, because that's what really matters. And the way I see it is, like, doing this, it's not about the money to me. It's not about, you know, the clout. What it's about to me is, it's about, I do this because the stories that they tell me inspire me to be a better person, you know, to keep my life on track. And just like when I was younger, you know, I'm straight as I don't drink, you know, I don't smoke, you know, I mean, I do drink soda, you know, I do that, you know, I do admit that, but I don't really consider that a drug. But, you know, I read books in high school, and at the time, like, you know, I was just really into the books, and I would read these teen dramas, and like, man, these guys are struggling with drugs, and it's like, man, this is crazy. I don't want to go down this life, and it's like, I would just read those books, and that would keep me away from it. And then around that time was the first time I got into music, listening to music, and like, the first CD I got, it was like around Christmas time, and I had extra money left over because I bought all my family Christmas gifts. And this was around the same time. It was My Chemical Romance, my favorite band. It was I Bought You Bullets, You Bought Me Your Love. It was the first time I listened to CD from front to back. I'm like, I want to do this. I want to do music now, you know? And it's like, I don't just want to be an interviewer anymore. I want to start doing music. And
when was that? When did you just gonna check something real quick. When did you decide to go from interviewing to doing music? Like, around what like year was that?
I would say probably like 2000 and maybe 10, or maybe 11. It was around the time that album came out, "Bought You Bullets, You Bought Me Your Love."
So before that, you were just doing interviews and going
yeah,
to shows?
I mean, they were kind of like trying here. I mean, I do release them on I got 2 YouTube channels. I got the XL and XL Part 2. And XL's is all my old stuff from, you know, 2008, you know, to 2000 and like, I don't know, 15. And then my current one is like, oldest ones is 2017 to now. But yeah, I mean, I started doing music around maybe like 2011. You know, I started rapping. That's what I did, and it's for the wrong reasons, you know. It was to impress girls, but I started as a battle rapper, not a how-to rapper. So it was battling, you know, and I would have sheets of paper, and I still have most of those. Somehow I threw them away because, you know, I kind of lost the battle, so I was like mad and upset. But I did save a lot of them, and you know, I would just rap them. I would read them off the sheet of paper, and I would rap them while I was doing the battle, or sometimes I'd try my best to remember. And, you know, that was around that time when I started rapping. It was like, you know, like 2010, 11 or somewhere around there, and I was probably in the 7th grade, probably at that time, actually. I was probably in 7th grade, so I believe that started at probably the school was, I'm going to say it was Garden Lakes. And ironically, you know, I live over there because I'm originally from Peoria, Arizona. You know, I didn't grow up, you know, in the best neighborhood. You know, like literally, like, I remember trying to hang out with friends. You know, I thought they were my friends, but they just weren't. They always were too busy hanging out, or, you know, sometimes they bragged too much. They have big screen TVs in the garage, and I'm like, hey, you know, and
1 second.
yeah.
So start from your friends again. Sorry, I had to start the camera over. So do you mind starting from where you were talking about your friends?
Yeah.
They weren't being good friends.
So yeah, my friends in Peoria, they just weren't good people, and they were, you know, I tried to knock on the door like, hey, let's hang out, and like there was like, nah, you know, none of them like wanted to hang out most of the time. So I tried, and then like a lot of the times they bragged. They had big screen TV in the garage, and they'd watch in the garage with the garage open, but I'd be trying to hang out with them like, nah, man, I'm not gonna hang out with you. And you know, for the most part, I only really had one good friend at that time. Well, I thought he was a good friend. Now I look back, he's an awful person, but his name was, you know, his name was Josh. And the thing about him, we would hang out all the time. You know, we went to the same school, like Santa Fe Elementary, you know, Country Meadows. Yeah, I mean, those were pretty much the only schools we went to together. Oh, and Desert Valley. And around that time, you know, I had my first crush, you know, around that time. Her name was Kelsey, you know, but I just went over to her house. She was like pretty much my only real friend at that time, but I would go over there at her house, and we would have like little picnics in her backyard and play Pokemon cards. It was during the time the Burger King Pokemon cards came out, and we would just have little picnics, you know, and hang with her and her sisters, and you know, I really liked her, you know, but like at that time, you know, we didn't kiss or anything, but you know, like she was my crush, you know, like I really liked her, and I went over her house like every damn day. It was crazy because it's like went there every day, and I'd be like knocking like, hey, you know, can I hang out with Kelsey? And she was like always available. She was like the only person in my neighborhood I was always able to hang out with besides that guy Josh. But then years later, you know, I found out he was just an awful person and just, you know, not a good person. And I just like, you know, I moved here, you know, to Avondale where I'm at currently, and you know, my perspective in life changed because I was no longer you know, living in a bad area. I was in a good neighborhood, and I was around people who really gave a damn about me. People who really were like inspiring me. Like I said, that's why like I started rapping. You know, because like at first it was just to impress the girls, but at the same time there was all these guys like, hey, be rad, you know, and they're like, you know, and that's really what inspired it. But then, you know, around the same time, probably 2009. 11 timeline or whatever, you know, probably, you know, high school, maybe a freshman or something like that, because it's right after, you know, that time, I recorded my first demo CD, because when in high school I kind of transitioned, because I had like a, you know, like the emo phase. I was going through a lot of breakups and stuff like that, you know, and what happened with that was it inspired me to do rougher music. So I kind of took a break, backhand on the rap, you know, I still kind of did it in high school, you know, but I started doing like the screamo, alternative, emo, gothic rock stuff. And I ran into this guy, David Lee Crow. He's a huge DJ now, Ghastly. And, you know, him and his best friend, I don't remember his best friend, but they were part of the Irish Front, which is it was a huge Arizona band. They took me to their house, and I recorded my first CD ever. And I remember that, you know, that recording, it was crazy because, like, I kind of feel bad because, like, it took a long time, but they did it all for free. And, like, there was this, like, intro to it. And I think I have it up somewhere online. But there's this intro, like, rest in peace to all the emo people who died. And, like, Daily Crow, like, did the intro. And it's cool because I seen him, like, I think 2019, I'm like, dude, you remember me? He's like, yeah, man, I remember you. Remember we went to the same high school, and like, it was cool to reunite with him because he's the dude. Him and his best friend from Irish Front, they recorded my demo CD. I had like 10 songs, and it was my project called Definite Sadness. I still do that music. I haven't done it in a while because I want better recordings. But they were doing, you know, the instrumentations to it, you know, like keyboard and the guitar, and I remember some of the songs, you know, there was like 1 or 2 rap songs on there, and all the others were screamo, and like, it really just like, really changed my perspective of music and how music works, and like, I got really popular around high school from it, and I would like go around And, you know, I'd get money from people because I'd rap to their lunch table, you know, and I'd like, hey, what's up, you know, you want me to rap? And then I did, and then they would just like start giving me money, you know, and like, it was cool. People would call me B-Rad, you know. At first that was my rap thing, was B-Rad. And, you know, now I think about it, that's not really, you know, it's not really a name you can take serious, because like the movie Malibu's Most Wanted, you know, he's a joke rapper, you know, and it's not good to be considered that. So I'm really happy the Death to Sadness EP and Gasoline, you know, David Lee Crow helped me make that. But the name B-Rad, you know, I don't go by that anymore. You know, these days, I go by 3 different names these days. And, you know, that's, you know, TM Jizzle, Rich King, Lil Witchblade, Lil Switchblade. Because even though I rap, I try to separate the, you know, the different styles. And, like, you know, the cool thing about these jeans is, like, these jeans be saying, you know, little Switchblade. And my friend Brat Boy from Alaska, because there's a scene out there, he also made jeans for Smart Def. He made these jeans. He designed these jeans specifically for me. So, you know, these are one of a kind jeans. And, you know, I told him, like, hey, you know, do these razor blades for me, and then, like, you know, do this little saying for me, you know, and then, like, the little switchblade right here. And then, you know, the little switchblade riding there. And I'm like, man, like, you made these jeans. Like, yeah, man, I can make you these jeans. And I'm like, I really want to start taking my craft seriously. And, you know, he made me these jeans. I'm like, man, these are beautiful. And, you know, I don't remember how much they were, but when he made me these jeans, it just, like, people started taking me more seriously with the rap music, because it's like, you know, I go by 3 different names, but I really want to be taken seriously with all 3. And then, what really made me become a better rapper is specifically, you know, there's 2 different people, you know, and at first I would dress all swagger, you know what I mean? I'd be dressed all swagger all the time, and then around Lil Peep came out, what, 2017, I believe, and then I started not only becoming a better lyricist, but opening up to who I am. I didn't have any style to begin with, you know, like, during that whole time frame, like, 2009 all the way to like 2016, I had no style. Then 2017, Peep came on the scene, Lil Peep. I saw Peep Show tour. I had colored hair, sure, but it wasn't like all rainbow, all crazy. It was like maybe 2 or so colors. And people kept saying, you know, like, dude, what? You trying to look like Lil Peep? I'm like, nah, man, I've been doing this way before he did it. It's true, I did colored hair way before he did it. But Lil Peep was, you know, inspired by Kurt Cobain, you know, because Kurt Cobain had the hairstyle first, you know. But I saw him on stage, and I'm like, damn, this dude is the best rapper I've ever seen. Like, at first, when I was younger, Eminem was my favorite rapper, but then I saw Lil Peep, I'm like, this dude's this emo gothic dude, like, you know, and he's got the cool gothic girlfriend, he's got the whole cool crew, and like, I remember the song that made me love his music, and also, you know, me respect myself to get to where I'm dressing like now, was the Witchblade song, you know, and I'm like, man, that song's amazing, and Lil Tracy wasn't even there, but I'm like, man, that dude Lil Tracy's cool, you know, shout out Lil Tracy, and that's, you know, that's what this hoodie is, you know, it's a Lil Tracy hoodie, and I got to meet him like 2 or 3 times. He's a really humble dude, really great person, but anyways, though, I saw him on there, and I saw he wasn't scared to be who he was. You know, he had makeup on, he had colored hair, he was dressed different, and I'm like, that dude's a lot like me. So then I went home, I'm like, man, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to start wearing these jeans, I'm going to start wearing all this crazy stuff, because it's like, this has always been me. I just never expressed it because people would make fun of me in grade school. Like, I had some cool high-top shoes, and people like, oh, man, dude, you look like a girl, man. Why are you doing that? Like, you know, they would just call me names and stuff like that. And then I saw Lil Peep, it's like, man, I don't really care anymore. I'm just going to start being me and embracing me, and whether people like it or not, you know, it's like, I ain't going to let it get to me. Because, you know, because sometimes, you know, some people won't take you serious the way you look, but I do want to be taken seriously. But at the same time, I want people to know that I'm real. You know, there's nothing fake about me. You know, like, all the interviews I've done, I haven't even paid, you know, to do those. It wasn't like where ahead of time I talked to them and it was all like scripted. None of my interviews were ever scripted. And you know, there was just none of that. And it was always legit, because I'm always about being real and about being humble. And that's what it's all about. And that's why, you know, people like Lil Peep and Lil Tracy inspire me, because, you know, they're really, you know, all the documentaries I watched, he was a humble person. But yeah, he inspired me to start opening up to myself more. And then, you know, I started doing all these crazy, you know, rainbow hair colors, you know. And it was because in high school, people, like, they recognized me, but I just had plain black hair, so they didn't, like, see me. You know, when you're in a crowd, you wouldn't remember me. Because, like, everyone has black hair, so they wouldn't remember me. And now I go to shows, everybody will remember me, like, dude, there's that guy, I don't know his name, I don't know who he is, but he's interviewing, he's doing autographs, I don't know what his deal is. And it's like, I want people to know the reason I do it. I'm not trying to make a profit, I'm not trying to make money, I'm not even trying to gain followers or fans. I'm doing it because I want people to know these musicians, these celebrities have a humble side to them. I want to show a side that people never see. I want these celebrities to people, I don't want people to see them as gods, kings, and worship and go like, oh my God, you know, I just want them to see them like a family member, a homie, just like with me, you know, even though, like, people know me, I don't want people to, like, go, oh my God, you know, freak out, or, you know, start crying, or, like, worshiping me or seeing me as a god. I want people to see me like a family member, a homie, because I feel like, you know, I'm friends with a lot of celebrities, you know, and the thing about it is, you got to see them as homies or friends or family members, because, you know, we don't like that. We don't like that when you make us a god. We don't want that. You know, we just want you to treat us like a homie or a friend. You know, we want to be treated like a person. We don't want you to get our autograph and go to eBay and sell it. We want you to respect us as people. And that's what I do. I respect these musicians. I'm not a fanboy. This is not fanning. It's, I want people to know these musicians are good people and humble people, and know with pop culture the kind of people they are. Because based on pop culture, it says a lot about people. And you know, I mean, years later I started incorporating that to my interviews, because it was the thing. It was my niche. You know, it was my weird questions, and it would just kind of determine, you know, pretty much who is into pop culture. Just pretty much determine, like, things that no one knew. You know, like, would you be a Muppet, Alvin Chipmunk character, a real monster character? You know, and then, like, stuff like, would you be Godzilla or King Kong? You know, like, supervillain. Would you be Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Harry Potter, Doctor Who character? You know, would you be a domino player, drum maker, horse rider, or, like, you know, famous girl you go with on a date, or, you know, stuff like, would you be a, you know, what Disney character you would be, or Adventure Time, Ragnar Show, Looney Tunes character. And, you know, and then my favorite one is, would you be E.T., a Gremlin, a Cho, SpongeBob, Scooby-Doo, or Cat Dog? And these questions, I love pop culture. I grew up as pop culture, you know, I watched it with my family, you know, my mom and dad all the time. And, you know, pop culture means a lot to me, so I love to incorporate it with what I wear and with my interview questions, because I know fans want to know more of what they like. Like I know people, like, want to know this, but they just never ask it. I've been to some Japanese Q&A sessions, and the fans did not know what to ask. I took it over, man. I'm like, man, I'm ready to go. Let's go, man. Let's do this. But yeah, and then, you know, another thing I've learned over the years is I've come across a lot of great musicians and people in the industry who, at first they look intimidating, man. They look like a Hell's Angel, or they you know, they're a gangster, or they may be a gangster, but then I actually talk to them outside of interviews. They're humble people. I mean, they're nice, like, you know, and my dad be looking like a Hell's Angel or like a Harley Davidson kind of guy, but, you know, he's just a big teddy bear, you know, and it's like, never let people be intimidating to you. And I learned that eventually by meeting a lot of musicians over the years, because at first, you know, I'm intimidating. I'm like, whoa, man, you know, this guy kind of, you know, it's kind of creepy. And then, you know, you pull aside and, like, they're so humble, you know. It's like, for example, like Attila, like, a lot of people, you know, based on all the tattoos and, you know, what they do, you know, the music they do, people will be like, oh man, I'm scared. But no, you know, Fonz and Attila are just really humble people. But when it comes down to it, where I actually started getting more recognition with my my YouTube videos, you know, filming sets and doing interviews, was them. They are the ones who gave me the opening, and they're like, hey man, it was like, what, 2018, 17 probably, and they're like, we're going to Warped Tour, man, and we're getting you a backstage pass. I'm like, wait, what? You gotta be joking, man. You give me a backstage pass? And they're like, yeah, man, we get you a backstage pass. You can do your interviews, take your photos, get your autograph, man. We support what you do. We've always supported what you do. You were there when we had nothing. You were the first person to ask for autograph, because at the time I had an autograph book. And, you know, this is not the same one, but I have them sign it. And they were signing it, and they're like, man, we're never going to be shit. We're never going to be anything, man. No one's going to want our, no one's going to ever pay to meet us. And then years later, till it skyrocket to these megastars. Everyone around the world knows Attila, you know. I mean, everyone around the world knows the band. And it's so amazing. I'm so proud of how far they came. But it's amazing they brought me along for the ride. And I've done already a few Warped Tours with them. And it was an amazing experience to be backstage, because you're hanging out with these people. You're not just interviewing them, getting their autographs. You're actually hanging out with them as homies. So it's kind of like a big kumbaya barbecue type thing, and you're just hanging out with all these rock stars, and it's people. It's not about, you know, anybody's flashy celebrity. You know, you don't have people flashing money. You don't have people always doing drugs. You're not even. It's not even about that. Like, a lot of people think, oh, well, they're just doing drugs and, you know, just getting with the girls, and that's not how it is. We literally just be bonding and just talking and hanging out. Maybe even talking about some sports, or even talking about some other bands we like. And I want other people to know that, like, a lot of people think the whole celebrity lifestyle is just about partying and the girls and the money, but we love pop culture, you know, we love pop culture. And, you know, I mean, celebrity, to me, that word, it's like, it shouldn't be a word. We should just be homies, the family, the friends, you know, people who inspire, and we just want you to have amazing life, and we just hope the music that we make and, you know, what we do would just inspire you to be a better person, you know. And it's just like, I think that's really what it's about, is inspiring. Like, I remember the other day, like, it broke my heart, but, you know, you also gotta give back to your community, you know what I mean? Like, my dog Molly, you know, I rescued her. She was a stray dog, and I gave her a home, you know. And then I have also, I got a bird, and her name's Tweety. My dog almost ate her. I saved her. I'm like, nah, man. I'm like, nah, Grizzly, rest in peace. My dog Grizzly died. I'm like, nah, man, you can't eat my bird, man. You can't eat my bird. And then, you know, we got her a lover, because those kind of birds, they need partners to live. They're cockatiels. And when we got her Rocky, he died. But recently, I got her a new man. His name's DJ, you know, kind of like the Ramones. I didn't name him that. It was the previous owners. But I'm like, man, pop culture? We gotta keep that name, man. I love the Ramones. You know, I love that band, because, you know, I've always loved punk bands. And then also, there was this one guy on the street the other day, and I don't know, he's like maybe 15 or 13, and there was a homeless person, and it was sad to see that, but I didn't judge the person. I helped him out, because I help out my community. You know, I gave him some money, you know, because it's like, I just really hope that, you know, he'll be okay in the end. And I remember one of my greatest achievements, though, it's not even an interview doing music. It was by my own community. It was by my house. There was this homeless guy with his dog, and I bought him some Taco Bell, and I gave him a big Taco Bell meal, and his eyes lit up. I'm like, man, this is making me happy, man. You know, this is a beautiful thing, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why it is amazing to be recognized by people, is because you steer them in a better direction. Like, I want to use my platform to say, hey, you know, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't need it, and it's your choice whether you need it or not. I'm not going to judge you, but I'm just saying, hey, I don't need it. And, you know, a lot of people don't want to be a celebrity or be known because they think it will involve drugs and drinking. And I'm here to show you that it doesn't have to be. You have consent, and you have full control. No one's holding a gun to your head and say, hey, man, do this cocaine, drink this alcohol, party with us. Like, nah, I mean, I've been with bands, musicians, hung out with them, they party. I'm like, man, I'm good. I'm partying my own way. I'm living it up, man. Taking pictures, doing interviews. I'm just chilling, getting autographs. You know, talking about some sports or pop culture, you know. And I just want people to know that it's not scary. It's not scary to be here at all. all the documentaries I watched, he was a humble person. But yeah, he inspired me to start opening up to myself more. And then, you know, I started doing all these crazy, you know, rainbow hair colors, you know. And it was because in high school, people, like, they recognized me, but I just had plain black hair, so they didn't, like, see me. You know, when you're in a crowd, you wouldn't remember me. Because, like, everyone has black hair, so they wouldn't remember me. And now I go to shows, everybody will remember me, like, dude, there's that guy, Clay. I don't know his name. I don't know who he is, but he's interviewing, he's doing autographs. I don't know what his deal is. And it's like, I want people to know the reason I do it. I'm not trying to make a profit. I'm not trying to make money. I'm not even trying to gain followers or fans. I'm doing it because I want people to know these musicians, these celebrities, have a humble side to them. I want to show a side that people never see. I want these celebrities to people, I don't want people to see them as gods, kings, and worship and go like, oh my God, you know, I just want them to see them like a family member, a homie, just like with me, you know, even though, like, people know me, I don't want people to, like, go, oh my God, you know, freak out or, you know, start crying or, like, worshiping me or seeing me as a god. I want people to see me like a family member, a homie, because I feel like, you know, I'm friends with a lot of celebrities, you know, and the thing about it is you got to see them as homies or friends or family members because, you know, we don't like that. We don't like that when you make us a god. We don't want that. You know, we just want you to treat us like a homie or a friend. You know, we want to be treated like a person. We don't want you to get our autograph and go to eBay and sell it. We want you to respect us as people. And that's what I do. I respect these musicians. I'm not a fanboy. This is not fanning. It's I want people to know these musicians are good people and humble people and know with pop culture the kind of people they are. Because based on pop culture, it says a lot about people. And, you know, I mean, years later I started incorporating that to my interviews because it was the thing. It was my niche. You know, it was my weird questions. And it would just kind of determine, you know, pretty much who is into pop culture. Just pretty much determine, like, things that no one knew. You know, like, would you be a Muppet, Alvin Chipmunk character, a real monster character, you know? And then, like, stuff like, would you be Godzilla or King Kong? You know, like, supervillain. Would you be Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Harry Potter, Doctor Who character? You know, would you be a domino player, drum maker, horse rider? Or, like, you know, famous girl you go with on a date? Or, you know, stuff like, would you be a, you know, what Disney character you would be? Or Adventure Time, Ragnar Show, Looney Tunes character. And, you know, and then my favorite one is, would you be E.T., a Gremlin, a Cho, SpongeBob, Scooby-Doo, or Cat Dog? And these questions, I love pop culture. I grew up as pop culture. You know, I watched it with my family, you know, my mom and dad all the time. And, you know, pop culture means a lot to me. So I love to incorporate it with what I wear and with my interview questions because I know fans want to know more what they like. Like I know people, like, want to know this, but they just never ask it. I've been to some Japanese Q&A sessions, and the fans did not know what to ask. I took it over, man. I'm like, man, I'm ready to go. Let's go, man. Let's do this. But yeah, and then, you know, another thing I've learned over the years is I've come across a lot of great musicians and people in the industry who, at first they look intimidating, man. They look like a Hell's Angel, or they you know, they're a gangster, or they may be a gangster, but then I actually talk to them outside of interviews. They're humble people. I mean, they're nice, like, you know, and my dad be looking like a Hell's Angel or like a Harley Davidson kind of guy, but, you know, he's just a big teddy bear, you know, and it's like, never let people be intimidating to you. And I learned that eventually by meeting a lot of musicians over the years, because at first, you know, I'm intimidating. I'm like, whoa, man. You know, this guy kind of, you know, it's kind of creepy. And then, you know, you pull aside and, like, they're so humble. You know, it's like, for example, like Attila, like, a lot of people, you know, based on all the tattoos and, you know, what they do, you know, the music they do, people will be like, oh, man, I'm scared. But no, you know, Fonz and Attila are just really humble people. But when it comes down to it, where I actually started getting more recognition with my my YouTube videos, you know, filming sets and doing the interviews, was them. They are the ones who gave me the opening, and they're like, hey, man, it was like, what, 2018, 18, 17 probably. And they're like, we're going to Warped Tour, man, and we're getting you a backstage pass. I'm like, wait, what? You gotta be joking, man. You give me a backstage pass? And they're like, yeah, man, we get you a backstage pass. You can do your interviews, take your photos, get your autograph, man. We support what you do. We've always supported what you do. You were there when we had nothing. You were the first person to ask for an autograph, because at the time I had an autograph book. And, you know, this is not the same one, but I'd have them sign it. And they were signing it. And they're like, man, we're never going to be shit. We're never going to be anything, man. No one's going to want our, no one's going to ever pay to meet us. And then years later, till it skyrocketed to these megastars. Everyone around the world knows Attila, you know. I mean, everyone around the world knows the band. And it's so amazing. I'm so proud of how far they came. But it's amazing they brought me along for the ride. And I've done already a few Warped Tours with them. And it was an amazing experience to be backstage, because you're hanging out with these people. You're not just interviewing them, getting their autographs. You're actually hanging out with them as homies. So it's kind of like a big kumbaya barbecue type thing. And you're just hanging out with all these rock stars. And it's people. It's not about, you know, anybody's flashy celebrity. You know, you don't have people flashing money. You don't have people always doing drugs. You're not even, it's not even about that. Like, a lot of people think, oh, well, they're just doing drugs and, you know, just getting with the girls. And that's not how it is. We literally just be bonding and just talking and hanging out. Maybe even talking about some sports, or even talking about some other bands we like. And I want other people to know that, like, a lot of people think the whole celebrity lifestyle is just about partying and the girls and the money. But we love pop culture. You know, we love pop culture. And, you know, I mean, celebrity, to me, that word, it's like, it shouldn't be a word. We should just be homies, the family, the friends, you know, people who inspire. And we just want you to have amazing life. And we just hope the music that we make and, you know, what we do would just inspire you to be a better person, you know. And it's just like, I think that's really what it's about, is inspiring. Like, I remember the other day, like, it broke my heart. But, you know, you also got to give back to your community, you know what I mean? Like, my dog Molly, you know, I rescued her. She was a stray dog, and I gave her a home. You know, and then I have also, I got a bird, and her name's Tweety. My dog almost ate her. I saved her. I'm like, nah, man. I'm like, nah, Grizzly, rest in peace. My dog Grizzly died. I'm like, nah, man, you can't eat my bird, man. You can't eat my bird. And then, you know, we got her a lover, because those kind of birds, they need partners to live. They're cockatiels. And we got her Rocky. He died. But recently, I got her a new man. His name's DJ, you know, kind of like the Ramones. I didn't name him that. It was the previous owners, but I'm like, man, pop culture, we gotta keep that name, man. I love the Ramones. You know, I love that band, because you know, I've always loved punk bands. And then also, there was this one guy on the street the other day, and I don't know, he's like maybe 15 or 13, and there was a homeless person, and it was sad to see that, but I didn't judge the person. I helped him out, because I help out my community. You know, I gave him some money, you know, because it's like, I just really hope that, you know, he'll be okay in the end. And I remember one of my greatest achievements, though, it's not even an interview doing music. It was about my own community. It was by my house. There was this homeless guy with his dog, and I bought him some Taco Bell, and I gave him a big Taco Bell meal, and his eyes lit up. I'm like, man, this is making me happy, man. You know, this is a beautiful thing, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why it is amazing to be recognized by people, is because you steer them in a better direction. Like, I want to use my platform to say, hey, you know, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, I don't need it, and it's your choice whether you need it or not. I'm not going to judge you, but I'm just saying, hey, I don't need it. And, you know, a lot of people don't want to be a celebrity or be known because they think it will involve drugs and drinking. And I'm here to show you that it doesn't have to be. You have consent. And you have full control. No one's holding a gun to your head and say, hey, man, do this cocaine, drink this alcohol, party with us. Like, nah, I mean, I've been with bands, musicians, hung out with them, they party. I'm like, man, I'm good. I'm partying my own way. I'm living it up, man. Taking pictures, doing interviews. I'm just chilling, getting autographs. You know, talking about some sports or pop culture, you know. And I just want people to know that it's not scary. It's not scary to be here at all.
If you just want to continue.
All right.
Cool.
And you know, I think what it's about is being humble. And what being humble is helping out the community, you know, helping out other musicians, helping out other people, and even reach out to fans sometimes and trying to understand their life and what they're going through and say, here, this is the direction you could take. Like, you don't take my advice, but, you know, this is the direction that I took. And I've probably been through some stuff you did. And, you know, I remember one of the best events of my life, though, was not doing an interview. It was not even meeting a famous celebrity. It was literally helping this homeless dude in my neighborhood, like, well, by the McDonald's. And he had his dog, and I bought him a nice Taco Bell meal. And that was a beautiful thing because, like, it just made me so happy. And it made me feel so humble. And it's just like this other day, you know, I was just going to the store or something like that, and I saw this kid was like 15, 13 on the streets, you know, and I didn't roll down the window and like judge him. I gave him some money, you know, because I really hope that he'll be okay. And who knows, maybe one day that dude could be a big musician or an actor, because, you know, you can never judge a book by its cover, and even if they look intimidating based on the backgrounds, it don't matter. I've seen a lot of musicians and artists and people, you know, who became nothing and they became something. Maybe they started out homeless, maybe they started out with addiction, but then they rose to the top and they became this mega star. Like I remember the one recently, it was in 2019. Everyone knows Young Blood, 24 Karat Gold, big mega stars, right? So I saw them blow up in front of my eyes at Pub Rock in Scottsdale, Arizona, and at the time I'm like, man, these dudes got something. These dudes could be something. And then 2020, they skyrocketed to success. You know, 24 Karat Gold and Reese came out that song Mood. Young Blood did all the songs with Machine Gun Kelly. And I was so amazed because they were so humble. They met every fan at the show in the building. They were nice to security. They even took pictures of security. Like, not many bands and musicians do that because, you know, sometimes you got to separate the work from the security. But they voluntarily like say, hey, you want a picture with us? It's cool. We don't have no issue with that. You know, Young Blood, 24 Karat Gold did that. And I'm really proud of their success, and it's amazing to have met them and that they're doing really good. And also, I'm really proud of Machine Gun Kelly. I met him once. And, you know, that little stuff means the world to me. But I'm really proud of his career, and it's really, really remarkable. And then, you know, Machine Gun Kelly's music means a lot to me. But it's great to see them using their platform on mental illnesses and addiction, but they've turned a lot of fans' lives around. And I always tell a lot of musicians that when they like think they're nothing, I'm like, man, your music saves people. I know you don't know it, but keep this up, because I've seen a lot of people like want to give up. I'm like, no, man, keep writing. Like, there's so many times people like, man, said, stop, don't do this anymore. It's like, you look weird. You know, even the other day I was at a show, and someone was like, dude, you look weird. What are you doing here, man? People like you don't do this. I'm like, I didn't tell them, but I'm like, people like me, like, I know I look different, but I am putting in the work. You know, before I even did music, I invested in musicians and bands. I would pass out flyers. I would make custom ones on the internet. I would buy all their merch and I would give it to my homies and have them give it to their homies. And, you know, I would tip like their merch people. Or sometimes, you know, just give them some food and stuff like that. I would invest in them as much as I could, even if I spend my last dime on their merch. I'm like, I want this band to be something. I want this musician to be something. I'll buy all their merch until I'm broke. Like, they gotta be something. And you know, I pretty much was, you know, started out as a investor with musicians and bands. And then it just came to the point where I started to like, man, you know, I think it's time for me to transition and start looking into making the music and doing the video. And then eventually I became a jack of all trades. You know, like I don't just do music and interviewing now, but I do poetry, I do acting, I do blogging, I do modeling, I'm a social media influencer, pretty much A&R rep, pretty much a CEO of my own company. I mean, XLTE is just me. You know, I'm uploading those videos, I'm doing the edits, I'm doing the interviews. It's a one-man team. And then, you know, I also do these collages of posters, which is under the EXO Part 2, Part 1, you know, banner. And then on top of that, not just do I do that, but I skateboard too, you know, and I'm a gamer. I love games. And then, you know, I guess you could consider myself, you know, a big fashion icon. You know, I love fashion. I support everybody's fashion. And then, you know, other things that I do is like, I encourage other people, you know, other fans, and I reach out to people who are down on their luck and like, hey, you know, what do you want to be in life? You know, you can be it. It doesn't matter how much money you got in your pocket. It don't matter if you don't have any money. It don't even matter if you have the credentials. The credentials. Can't even say that word, but sometimes some words you can't even say. But you know, that's why I'm a rapper. You know, that it works good when you rap and you can't say words the right way because no one's judging you. You know, that's the thing. Like people always think you gotta speak proper English. Sometimes there's some words we just can't say. But pretty much what I'm saying is, you know, even though you don't got the media pass, you don't always need it. Like you want to be an interviewer, go for it. You want to shoot all these big bands, go for it. You want to make a movie, make it. If you don't have a nice camera, make it on your phone, you know. If you want to record music, you don't got a nice recording studio, record on your laptop. Or, you know, just sing it into your phone, you know. Just like turn on the phone, be on YouTube on your laptop or computer, or your stereo even, and sing it onto the phone. And that's what I did with my first songs, you know, and I released them like that. But really anybody could be what they want to be. They gotta push themselves to it because the thing is, once you start doing this, you're not done. Even if you're Sky, megastar, like, you know, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, you know, legends like that, you are not done doing this. This is a life thing. Like, once you do this, there's no turn back. You can't just, like, turn off it all and say, I'm done with this. Because not only do you have people looking up to you for guidance, but you have people who are inspired by you. And there's those people who, like, they're so inspired by you, you quit. They may not even be alive, and that scares me, you know. And the thing is, I reassure everybody, I'm not gonna quit because this is a lifeline, but this is my life. Like, I don't really care about the money in the end. What matters is I enjoy this. I love all the hours I put in doing the collages, the modeling, and all that, the different photos and pictures I take. Because, you know, I got into just taking photography during high school. I would take pictures of random things, trees, mountains. And that's, you know, I was awful at a legit, like, camera. I failed photography. But when it came to, like, a cell phone, man, I take good photos with this. And I try to, like, take as many photos as random things because I know someone out there probably created it, or someone out there, that's what they want to do, you know. And I want to show them, like, you don't need a fancy camera either to take good photos. I took some of my best photos with my phone, you know. Even had, like, I have a point and shoot camera. I didn't bring it here, but I have it at home. And I've taken a lot of photos with that, and they came out really crispy and really cool. But just because of the type of camera you have, you don't even need expensive gear to do that kind of stuff. All that you need is your niche, something that stands out. With my interviews, my niche is the odd questions, the superhero, Godzilla. You know, would you be a wizard, warlock, witch, or sorcerer? You know, Power Ranger, Transformer, Ninja Turtle. Ironically, what's really surreal, I met a few of the Power Rangers, and that was a cool experience. You know, I grew up with them, so that was a remarkable experience. It's always cool to experience like that. I even met the SpongeBob guy, you know, Paul Rubin, Elijah Wood, and that was, you know, that was amazing. You know, these people are pop culture icons, but they're really nice. And I even met William Shatner, and it was a beautiful experience. I'm like, you know, what would you be? You know, like, you know, pretty much what Earth element he would be. And he's like, he'd be like the breeze, you know, and it was like, so smooth how he was. And it's like, it's always cool because a lot of people think these people are not nice and, you know, not humble, but once you get to see how humble they are, it's amazing. Like when I go to shows, I've got to the point where it's like, man, it's great to see the show, but I want to know these people's stories. I want to know their stories. I don't want to like be this annoying fan that they see like, oh yeah, this dude just wants to sell my autographs. You know, he just wants a picture. Like he doesn't care about us. I care about these bands, musicians. I'm up into my eyes are red researching them because I want to know the people they are because I'm fascinated by their story. I love their stories. Like to me, making music is a storybook. You know, because I love reading books, so it's kind of like it's like a spoken book. And I also love spoken word artists. I think that's a remarkable thing. You know, it's like a poetry thing, you know, in the hardcore scene. But I really love that. And also, who's really...
One second, yeah. Man, I'm sorry. All right, so we left off with your spoken word.
Yeah.
How much you like the spoken word.
Yeah, I got introduced to that at the hardcore scene. I don't remember the name of the artist. I do know, God, it's off the top of my head. He's like he wrote a book also. Oh yeah, Hotel Books. Yes, yes. Really introduced by Hotel Books. Like, and then he kind of transitioned with, you know, instrumentation, but first it was just spoken word. And I'm like, man, this is so cool. This is like cool. This is like music, but it's not music. It's like poetry. It's like, man, this kind of reminds me of like Edgar Allan Poe. And then like along the way, I'm like, man, this is inspiring. This spoken word stuff is really inspiring. And, you know, I kind of started eventually incorporating it in my own music because it's like, man, this is cool. And that's what sets me apart in my rap music. I try to incorporate as many different elements, but at the same time, I have pop culture in there, and that's what is my niche. It's not even about the style I do. It's about the pop culture reference. I always got to have pop culture in my interviews and my music, or it's not me. It's not, you know, it's not Axel at all. It's not Tim Jizzle Rich King. It's not Lil Switchblade. It's not Lil Witchblade. It's just not me. I gotta have that niche, and that's just a really important thing. But I think also what's really amazing is social media has really helped me, you know, and it's definitely gotten me a bigger fan base, and it's gotten me able to help out a lot of other musicians and people because it happened in a show, you know, Weeknd was playing, and then Vic Mensa opened. I posted a picture with him, and then I started getting followers. And, you know, some people would like, they wouldn't be humble about that. They started getting followers, they would brag, you know, and they would be like, hey, I'm better than you. And like, I'm not better than anybody, you know, like, I may be Catholic and I'm not an extremist, you know, believe what you want to believe, but, you know, this kept me away from drugs, and, you know, I mean, this, you know, it saved me, you know, God saved me. And that's my beliefs. I mean, you know, I support whatever your beliefs are, you know, but it saved me. And that's the thing about it, you know, I'm always humble about things. So when social media came, I started to get followers, you know, it's not about I'm better than you because I have more followers, starting to get recognition, I'm better than you, or the whole, oh, I'm famous, yeah, I don't want to mess with you. That's not what it's about to me. What it's about is the platform to guide as many musicians and people onto the right direction. And you also want to make sure the ones that you see potential, you're like, hey, you know, as the A&R, I'm like, hey, come on now, gotta release some music, like maybe switch up your image a little bit, maybe throw something different in there, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe color your nails, do some colored hair, like make yourself stand out. Like right now you're looking like some homeless dude, right now, you know, you're looking like somebody that doesn't want to do this. And when you do this, you want a niche. But at the same time, when you want to be taken serious as an artist, you want to have something to make you stand out. You know, whether it's colored hair, colored nails, really fashionable, you want some kind of fashionableness, because fashion really matters when you do music. Like, that's how you really stand out. People remember you. Like, there's so many musicians, it's sometimes hard to remember because it's like, well, they just got a basic style. It's like, man, I love his music, but how am I supposed to track this guy down? How, you know, like, if I want to hang out with this person, like, he can look like a million different people on the street, but me? Like, you're like, man, that's him, man. That's Axel right there, man. That's him. I know that's him, man. There's no one else who does that rainbow-colored hair and stuff like that, you know. There's no one that wears all that crazy stuff, and it's like, I want people to recognize me, and, you know, I want people to take me more serious about this. This is work to me, but at the same time, it's pleasure. You know, it makes me happy. It's my lifeline. It's what I live for. It's, you know, I live this forever. This is my life. I don't ever want to stop doing it. I never will. Even, you know, whenever I get married, you know, I want her to respect this too, because this ain't going anywhere. You know, I'm always going to do the interviews, photography, videography, concept design, graphic design, A&R, hopefully get a record label one day together, a studio where I can make like movies, animes, do like some voice acting, because I like that stuff too, you know, some poetry, some author publication stuff, and you know, like make CDs and vinyls and merch company and all that, and then just modeling agency. You know, I want to have a big mega company, but you know, the wife I have one day, I definitely would want her to be supportive of that. And you know, I want everybody to know that I'm not doing this as a fan. I'm doing this because I support what these musicians do, and I support their dreams. And I've always supported. I've seen a lot of bands and musicians blow up, and I never got to meet them. You know, like there's so many. Like Nicki Minaj, I saw her blow up, and I haven't met her yet. But it didn't blow me away that she blew up. I knew she was capable, she had the potential. You know, I even seen Lil Wayne blow up in front of my eyes, Eminem. You know, I'm from the 90s, so I saw, you know, Tupac and Biggie blow up, and Kurt Cobain. And I didn't know these people, but as a kid, I'm like, I see something in these people. I see something. And, you know, they started as underground artists, and then, like, I see what they got. And, you know, luckily, I was able to, in 2019, meet some musicians that are pretty big now. You know, I got to meet Coi Leray, Trippie Redd, Doja Cat, Tyler Yahweh. They're huge megastars now. Even recently, I met Polo G. He's already a megastar. And it's cool because I'm so proud of what they've done, how many people they inspired. And I just want musicians to have a deeper respect for me where they'll let me interview them. They'll let me take pictures with them. And they'll understand this is not about bragging. This is not a fan thing. It's because I care about their stories. I want to know what inspires them. I want to know who they are as people. And I want to show the fans who don't like them. I want the fans to love them. I want the fans to know who they are as people, not just see them as dollar signs, you know? Because one of the things I do what other interviewers don't do, I got the homie family mode. And what that means is anyone I interview, it's a homie family vibe. It's not like, man, let's just do this. This is all business, you know. Let's get the script, write all this out. No, it's not scripted. It's all randomness. I want full, real reaction, and that's what it's about. But I'm proud of all the artists I see in concert. I support what they do, and I'm not out there standing there be a crazy fan. That's not what it's about. It's because I'm doing work, and I want the fans to respect them more as people. Because I read the comments on YouTube, and I see what they say about them, and then I meet them in person. I'm like, man, you're wrong. They're not a jerk. They're really humble. You just got to sit down there and, you know, you got to approach them right way. You can't be crying to like, oh my God. Like, musicians don't want that approach. They do not want that approach at all. So they're not going to take pictures of you. They don't want autographs. They want nothing to do with you. And I just want bands and musicians to know that I'm not that guy. I'm the guy who I really want to know about them, and I want the fans to respect them. I'm doing these interviews because I want more people to respect them. It's not about the money. It's not about no business. It's because I want fans and I want people to respect them more. And I feel like a lot of interviewers out there are just not doing that. They're not getting the respect, and especially sometimes when they make them look bad. Like, I don't ever want to make any musicians or people I interview I don't want them to look bad. I want them to be who they are. And that's why when it's off guard, you know, you see who they really are. You know, that's who they are. That's not scripted. You know what I mean? That's who they are. So my interviews, what you see, that's who they are. This is not fake. This is not no virtual reality. This is as real as it could get. And then also, you know, back to the social media thing, it's the best thing if you want to do any kind of art, because I support all artists, for a platform. It's the best way to build your base. But when you do this kind of stuff, you can't focus so much about the money, because honestly, a lot of the time, what you do get is you do end up getting a lot of merch, but at the same time, you get to make a lot of lifelong friends, and you got teams of people who would just, they'll go through it in the world for you, you know what I mean? And they'll always have your back. When you're having a bad day, going through a breakup, just going through some personal stuff, you could talk to them. And it's outside of interviewing and all that, and you could just say, hey man, I'm having a bad day, you know, can we talk? And then that's like what is amazing. You can call these people friends, and it's not just to call up on someone and say, hey man, I met this celebrity. Yeah, that's it, done with it. That's not me. I meet these celebrities. I want to meet them again over and over because I want to be friends with them. I don't want to be seen as a crazy fan. I want to be seen as somebody who's helping them. I want to help out as many musicians and bands and artists as I can. That's why I do what I do. And I feel like a lot of bands and musicians just don't see that. They don't understand that that's why I do this. It's not about the money. It's not about fame. It's because I really want people to see their humbleness. And being humble really matters. You know, when I was younger, I wasn't always a humble person. So, you know, doing this stuff, it helps me be more humble, you know, so it just helps me stay in my lane. You know, I feel like you don't ever want to lose your humbleness. That's why people like Post Malone, I don't know him personally, but I'm best friends with Crown the Empire, and he auditioned for them for guitar. They're like, nah, man, we don't want you as a guitar player. He's like, man, he didn't give up. He started this rap. I was like, well, fine, I'll be my own artist. started underground, you know. He did show after show after show. He's a huge megastar. But he's one of the most humble artists in the world. Like, Post Malone's a remarkable dude. I haven't met him personally. But, you know, he's a great person. And it's just like, you know, I mean, it's just great to meet these artists. But, I mean, are there any, like, Pacific artists that, you know, or that you want to know about? Like, the experiences I've had? I mean, I've had experience with a lot of great artists. But, I mean, are there any Pacific ones that you like that you want to know about?
I mean, I just kind of want to know a little bit about everything.
Yeah.
If there's one band that you like, what artist or band do you consider yourself like closest to? Like the ones that you talk to the most and you know, meet up with the most and hang out with the most. I guess
Yeah.
that might have changed.
Yeah.
Throughout the years, but maybe like today, like right now, who are some artists that you hang with and you know, got to know pretty well?
Well, over the years, you know, the whole Attila, Sworn, Chelsea Grin, Siler, Memphis Mayfire, Sleeping with Sirens, Bring Me the Horizon, Tonight Alive, Paris, Crown the Empire, Asking Alexandria, We Came as Romans, you know, rest in peace to Kyle, he was a great singer. Suicide Silence, you know, Behemoth, you know, Mushroom Head, you know, they're all great humble people. You know, I've hung out with them a few times or hang out with them, but also who I think that really, you know, inspires me of who I am. You know, because there's, you know, there's different elements to the whole, like, musicians that, you know, that are really humble and remarkable people, and, you know, ones that I really relate to. But I think I also relate to My Chemical Romance, because when they came out, I'm like, I'm no longer scared to be this emo gothic guy. Like, I really have a lot of strong views with the whole culture, the gothism, and the whole horror movies and the whole thing, you know. And that's really, My Chemical Romance are definitely the reason why I love horror movies and, you know, Night of the Living Dead and stuff like that. And then there's people like Lil Peep. I didn't meet him, but he's the reason why I started loving and respecting myself as a person. Before that, I was ashamed of who I am. I've always been this person with the colorful hair and the style I am now. I've always been that person. I was just always scared because I was scared what people would think. But seeing Lil Peep do it and people love him, it's like, man, people could love me too. It's like, at the end of the day, you know, I when I saw Lil Peep, it's like, and then My Chemical Romance, it's like, they taught me, people gonna love you or not gonna love you, they're gonna respect you, they can respect you, but you gotta be who you are. And it was just amazing. But, you know, also over the years, you know, other musicians I met, maybe once or a few times, that really caught me off guard at how nice they were, was like Aaron Carter. And Aaron Carter, I grew up to that kid. I used to skateboard and ride BMX bikes, and I was always listening to his music, and it was really remarkable meeting Aaron Carter. Such a really humble dude. And then it was only for a few minutes, but I got the name, you know, Coi Leray, you know, Doja Cat, and Tali Yahweh, and that was really remarkable. I mean, they were really amazing people. And then NASCAR Loy, remarkable dude. I'm 100% proud of him. And, like, the whole team, the whole Bad Religion team, I met everyone but the singer. But they're really, really, really nice people. And then, like, you know, there's people like Mikey Rotten I met him recently. Such a humble dude. So humble. And then, like, you know, there's the Power Rangers I met. You know, Jason Phonic, Austin St. John, Walter, Catherine Sutherland, was her Nikia or something like that? I think that's her name. Yeah, and then Chavo Guerrero. Yeah, and then Chavo Guerrero, the wrestler. Just such nice people. And, you know, you cut off guard when you meet them, but it's amazing. But also I got to meet the Loonies, 2 of them out of 1, and they were so amazed at my interviews, and they were just like, wow, dude, this is like the coolest interview I ever had. And, you know, that makes my day when people say, this is the coolest interview I've ever had. I remember one time I interviewed Oceana out of the blue. The singer was having a bad day. He's like, bro, you made my day with that interview. And I remember one of my favorite interviews I did recently was NASCAR Loy. And he was so happy. He was so happy. He's like, man, this is having the time of his life. We just kept going and going and going and going. And then, Issues, I go way back with Issues, best friends with them too. And the interview lasted so long. I had to cut it off because it's like, man, I got to go support the other bands, And they kept on, going on and on. And then even bands like May, they start telling me what they think about life and their life story. And they just started telling me how they feel about what life really is. And it's really cool to see how deep they get with you sometimes. Because sometimes it's like a therapy session. They know they're on camera and they know it's going out somewhere on the internet. But it's like, man, they just kind of like, for whatever reason, a lot of these bands and musicians tell me their life stories. And sometimes it's like, my God, man, like some of the stuff you're telling me, it's deep, bro. Like, you need a therapist. It's amazing they're trusting me with this. And it's just really, it feels good. It really, it feels good to hear their stories and that I'm able to be a service to them. But also, I love the local scene too, especially the hardcore scene, the straight edge scene, and the rap scene since 2009's come up, and who really is one of my favorite artists. It's still my favorite local rap songs, Beverett Clark with Emo Fruits, Pink Sig, Caden Gray, and the song is, damn, what is the name of that song? Shoot, let me see here. But yeah, I mean, he's a great artist, and that's when I started really liking the rap scene in Arizona was because of those guys, and I'm still good friends with, Beverett Clark and all of them. Yeah, Man That Song's That Bitch. It also has Hotel Room in it. And that's my favorite local rap song because it's like, man, this has got that vibe of Kid Laroi, And it's like, he was an artist, he did song for a while, Beverett Clark, but eventually, he's doing other things now, and it does break my heart. I wish he would do music because he's my favorite local artist. But Pink Sig, Caden Gray, Hotel Room, and Emo Fruits are still around. And they're nothing but humble, and Splash Fiago, Big Baby Gucci. Recently I met this big rapper who's starting to blow up. He's called Debo Lottie Maserati. Dude is so humble. And then, then there's Doom Division, and they're the big rap group. They're like the Suicide Boys, the GBC, the Drain Gang. Shout out to Blady. I support him. I love. That's another reason why I experiment with my rap music with the auto-tune is because of Blady. Also shout out to, Dog and Carol's Daughter, really great artists. And then Skitzel. He's nothing but a great artist. He's a great person. He's helped me out along the way, and, just by spreading, good things about me. And also Cosmic Clicks. They're kind of like the internet money of Arizona. They got so many members, but they're all such humble people. And then there's the Bankai Boys, which is Little Grim Killin and Skull Kid. And they're just great. Skull Kid started out in a band, he started out in an older band. But he transitioned to a rapper. It's just amazing because he remembered me from his old band. And it's just great to, to see the switch up. And it's always an amazing thing. And then, also recently I met Polo G, Score, and T-Baby. And the crazy thing is, T-Baby and Polo G are brothers. And his mom, Polo G's mom, is the manager. She's the reason why he's that big megastar. And I can't help but, respect that his mom's helping him out. Because sometimes some people don't have that support from family. And it's important you have that support. And, I do have that support. Along the way, my family's helped me. And even for Christmas, my mom bought me my printer. So I'm able to do my collage posters. And it's just, it's just really, really, really amazing to be able to print out these posters, because I used to be the kid at shows to take them off the wall or buy them, and now I can just print one myself and no one else in the world will have it. And even bands, musicians like that, man, this is the coolest thing they ever did. I even saw this one rapper girl, it's like Mercy, it's Mirsy, it was in California when I saw Wicca Phase, Daz, Fish Snark, Yawns, and the singer it's John, he used to be in Balance Composure, and they were doing a show there. She was with the Open Yas. Oh yeah, Fantasy Camp was there too. And just the whole Misery Club crew. But it was cool because she cried. She was so happy seeing that. She's like, this is the nicest thing that anyone ever done for me. This is so cool. And they would take pictures with their phone, do videos man, look at this poster. This is so cool. And it's always been that way when they see the posters. They've never not got offended, even though some people get mad about copyright or whatever. but I add my extra little images to it, like whether it's a different coloring or like put different things in the background. So it's no longer copyright anymore. It's a new original image, and it's my niche for my art. And it's amazing to bring joy even when I show them those amazing photos. And then, my first big festival was in 2019. It was the Days of Dead festival. It was kind of like a Coachella, pretty much. It was huge. I wasn't prepared for it. I was running over the place doing interviews, taking photos, getting autographs, running from stage to stage. And it would just been so much better if I would have been backstage. But I saw Nardwar, and that was so amazing, that moment. I didn't get a picture with him or even a video, but it's like, it was amazing to be that close to him because he really inspires me. He's always gifting all these musicians, but he always knows all this stuff about them. And I'm a lot like him. I know a lot of knowledge about musicians before they even did. Like, one of the guys from the Loonies, I randomly put a car on there, on the poster, because like it was a Fast and Furious car. I'm like, well, I know they like cars. And he's like, yeah, I like Fast and Furious. I didn't even know he liked Fast and Furious, so it was an accident they even have that on the poster. But somehow, I kind of knew he liked that, Fast and Furious. I didn't really know, but I kind of like had an idea that he did. And then like, shout out to all the people who are really blowing up right now. Polo G, Lil TJ, Lil Durk, Lil Keed. I'm really proud of them, and I would love to hear their stories. And it always makes me happy to see artists blow up. I'm never, jealous or mad, because they deserve it and they put in the grind. Just like, No Jumper and Nardwar, they started out from nothing to blossoming to who they are. And, that's usually what I'm always doing. I'm always uploading YouTube videos and planning the next move and next show I'm going to, and, trying to get money to go to. Because sometimes, doing this, money does start to become an issue. I'm not going to lie to it, but you got to do as much as you can, though. But sometimes you may not be able to take an Uber, so it's okay to take a bus to get to these places. You got to do what you got to do sometimes to be at specific places. Even if sometimes you got to spend a lot of money in an Uber to get a amazing interview that will really get you more views and more recognition, sometimes you might have to pay the money to do it. But sometimes I can't, So I do it when I can. And there's shows that I had to go to where I was not able to Uber to. I maybe had to walk to it, or maybe I had to literally take a bus. But just because you take a bus, you're not a low person. Everybody thinks because if you take a bus or Uber, you're not, wealthy, or you're not, a good person. You're a bad person. But it doesn't matter. Any type of person could be on the bus. It doesn't matter. Even if people have a broken phone, it doesn't mean that they're not a humble person. It just means that they got a broken phone. I mean, there's tons of musicians I met, and they rather have a broken phone than a new one because they're investing into their craft more. I remember one time Lil Raven told me and inspired me to only do this. This is my only income, is what I'm doing. I don't have a day job. I don't work at Walmart, Fry's, because it's not what I want to do. This is my work, whether I make money from it or not. But Lil Raven told me, like, when you're a rapper, when you do this, you're only considered taken seriously if this is all you do. Like, you can't be calling yourself a rapper or an artist in this industry if this ain't all you do. Like, if you have a job on the side, like Walmart or Sam's Club or a restaurant, then, you're not really for the craft. And it made me think, it's like, man, this is my life. This is serious. This is work. I'm going to make people respect me, but in a humble way. I'm not going to cuss them out, get mad at them. I mean, over the years, there's some people who we had to burn bridges down because they weren't humble. I'm not going to mention names because I'm not that kind of person, but there were times when I found out people I looked up to weren't humble. And it broke my heart because not only were the musicians not humble, but their crew was not humble. Their crew was mean to me, and that sinks down the ship. I've seen a lot of bands and musicians fall to pieces because their management sunk them down. So anytime you want to be a great interviewer, YouTuber, TikToker, whatever kind of art you want to do, you have to have a good team. Or if it's just you got to be humble. You can't have the complex, the God complex of like, I'm better than you, I get all the girls than you, I got more money than you. Being no one cares. You're in a room full of tons of celebrities. It doesn't matter who has more money. What matters is who the most humbleness, because that's the one who will be better with business because more people will work with you humble. People aren't going to work with someone who ain't nice. You know what I mean? Sometimes there's some people who are humble, but you just can't see it because they're all business. Like Young Thug. People don't think he's humble, but I know he's humble. I met him once, but he's always doing business. So sometimes some people, they take it wrong. They see business when people are really busy as not being humble. But, they are humble. But there's a difference between people being really busy with doing their business and people not being humble. But I'm always being humble, and, I never lie about what I believe and what I support because I'm strong about that. I'm strong about letting people know that God has saved my life. He's gotten me to this point, and I would be nothing without him, in that he's kept me away from addiction. I've had friends I had to let go, and they fall into that route, and I only pray, they find their way and everything goes good, but I'm not judging. I'm not saying they're bad people. We've all been sinners. We've all been down that dark path, and we can become better people, but it's up to us. I'm not gonna tell people what they can and can't do. I have friends with a lot of musicians, and they do a lot of drugs and a lot of different things, but I'm not gonna tell them to stop and say, hey, you're not a good person. My books are good people. Like Attila, a lot of people say a lot of bad things, but they're really humble people, and I know people probably don't like them because of the whole drug aspect, but it's like, you gotta look past that. You can't be so close-minded in this industry because you're not gonna make it. You just can't be close-minded, and you gotta be open, because some of the best people I met in the industry have been really heavy on addictions, and they're good people. They're just on addictions. I'm not gonna judge their addictions. I'm not gonna sit there and say they're bad people. There's some nice people that I've ever met. Whether they want to change themselves, that's up to them. But the ones who have, I'm really happy for like, most of GBC, they had addictions, but they, Got Boy Click, which is a little Peeps group, they got help. They got rehab themselves. I'm proud of them, like Mac Ned. I heard Lil Tracy did. Just a lot of the members, multiple members of Got Boy Click did, and I'm really proud that they decided that they needed help, and they got themselves help, and they're really remarkable people. They're better people than they ever were before. And also, I just really want to say a shout out to Lil Aaron, Lil Lotus, and Shimigami and Smart Def, because they also inspire me with my experimentation with music. But Smart Def, I feel like he's a lot like me. We're a lot random. We do the colored nails and stuff like that. And then Lil Aaron, my friend, my tour manager, well, it's not my tour manager, but Attila's tour manager, Billy, he's like, hey, dude, you gotta check out Lil Aaron. And I'm like, man, he kept showing me, I kept seeing the Hot Topic song, and I saw this dude with his eyeshadow, and then I met him. Like, he's such a humble dude. Like, Lil Aaron is amazing, and I'm proud of everything Lil Aaron's achieved, and the whole Boyfriend crew, the whole, Lil Lotus and Smart Def, and it's great. I met Smart Def a few times, and Coops, he's, he does his own, Nathan Copes, he does his own clothing line, and he's a photographer. And I met him a few times. He's a great person. I support what he does. And Wiggy, he's done a lot of Lil Peep videos. I never met him, but I'd love to meet him because his videos are really inspiring. And I really, also on the side, I do my own music videos for a lot of my own songs. And the way I see the world is like, we can't see it in black and white, be closed-minded. We got to give people a chance. But at the same time, you got to know what people are good for you, not people. Sometimes you got to say, like, this person's not going to lead me down the path that I want to be at, so I can't have this person in my life. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes there's nights that I cry where it's like, I wish that person could be in my life still because I wish I could help them and we had good times. But, that's not always the case. And what I've learned is, I had a chance when I was younger to be on stage with Green Day. And I know you had experience with Green Day,
Yeah.
I mean,
where was that? Was that at the what's the Talking Stick Resort now?
Action Pavilion. Was that Action Pavilion?
Oh, was it with Jimmy Eat World? Was it that show?
AFI, was with AFI.
Oh, okay. That was a little after. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to be that kid that they pick out of the crowd because they always do that. Yeah. I've always wanted to be that. Is that what they did with you? Or?
No, they moved the bear kit and they're like, hey, come on stage. So I ran up there and I was even filming it. I even had it on film, but I can't show because so many YouTube videos I got on YouTube. But like I filmed it and they didn't care when I went up there and I was like dancing and I was in front of 25K or so, 30K people or whatever. I was not scared and I was like dancing And I was like tap my phone, like, yeah. And and then like with Green Day, they were like, I was doing like backing vocals, and I was into it, and people were like looking at me. I was like jamming. I'm like, yeah, and I was in my element. I know I was in front of a lot of people. Some people may have a heart attack, be scared, but it was amazing. I was right next to Billy Joe Armstrong. Like, oh my god, this is so cool. It's like, I kind of was fanboying, but I don't really fanboy. Like, people think that I do, but I don't. He's inspiring. Like, Billy Joe Armstrong is the reason I wear skinny jeans. I saw the Boulevard Broken Dream music video, and I told my mom, I need to go get some skinny jeans. I'm tired of wearing these baggy jeans. I'm a skinny guy. I want to show it. I'm not ashamed. And I got my first pair of skinny jeans. They were Free World was the company. It was at Tilly's at Arrowhead Mall. And they had a lot of great stores that they don't have anymore. And it's sad, the stores that are gone, because I had so many great memories of the stores. But like, they had KB Toys, and they had a lot of great toys. Just a lot of great toy stores and stores I know more. Like, there was just like Industrial Ride Shop they had there. And just, it's sad to see places like that go, because the skate culture, that's another culture I love. And that's also during the same time I bought my first skateboard. So I started skateboarding, and that goes well with Green Day, because Green Day are skaters, and they also inspired me to skate. So I started skateboarding. I also do my own niche, tricks, and now I get older, everyone's doing it. They're doing tricks, they're popping it up and flipping it, and then, shout out to Tony Hawk, because he made that reality. He made that skateboard a real reality where you make random tricks up, and now it's considered a legit trick. That's because of Tony Hawk. He incorporated in all the video games. I played those games with my nephew and my brother all the time. That's what we do, is play Tony Hawk's and listen to Green Day. That's what we were doing. So when I was on stage with Green Day, I'm like, bro, you're like the reason I got skinny jeans on right now. You're the reason I love skateboarding. And at the time, I only had one phone, only one camera, so I was filming it. But, I think I filmed back, do a little selfie thing, and film on stage. But you clearly know that I was on there, and there's probably videos of me on YouTube who other people who filmed that night, So you clearly see I'm on stage with them. I didn't get any autographs, because at the time, I don't know why. I had an autograph book on me, you know what I mean? So I don't know why I didn't, but I didn't. But I got his guitar pick. It was in the mic stand. I'm like, man, I got his guitar pick. And I did. I still have the guitar pick. It's one of my rarest pieces of memorabilia, because Green Day mean a lot to me, because they're the reason why I wear skinny jeans. I would love to interview them one day. That's one of my dream ones, next to Eminem, and a full interview with Machine Gun Kelly, and then Lil Durk, of course Blady, the whole Drain Gang crew, and a few more members of GBC, because like their stories are amazing, their music is amazing, and then eventually, like, I get more into art, when I was younger, I drew a lot of pictures. I don't draw as much anymore, but I still do time to time, and it's definitely what I do, is I do that, and on my downtime, like, I read books, and it could be, a horror book, a romance book, a teen drama, sci-fi, scary, anime, mangas, and then I have a deeper respect for anime and voice acting. So, over the years, I've been meeting, voice actors, and that's been pretty cool too. Like, I met Goku the other day, and that was really surreal. Unfortunately, it wasn't the best experience, but it wasn't because of him. It was just wasn't the best experience, because they didn't, at the place, they didn't have it all set up the right time, the times were all messed up. So that was on the company that did it, but it wasn't him. He was nice, he was humble. And it was cool to meet him, because it's like, I grew up to him, and it's like, originally he said no photos, but he let me take a selfie with it. He's like, well, I can see you're a fan, I can see, you support what I do. I got a few photos with him. It was amazing. It was a selfie, it wasn't, a photo where someone, takes the photo for you, but it's a selfie, and it meant a lot to me, even though he had a mask, because that's Goku. Like, every kid I remember in the 90s wanted to be Goku, and that was one of the reasons why I started spiking my hair, because I spike my hair sometimes, not spike right now, but that was usually the reason why I would spike my hair, is because Goku, and it was like, Kamehameha, me and my nephew would always do that, and like, Kamehameha to the gut. It's like, oh my god, we would like play fight and stuff like that, and we would just always watch that on Tanami, and I got to meet the guy who plays Tanami. Don't remember his name, but I got to meet him, and it was amazing. It was amazing to meet him, because like, he's such a humble dude. And like everyone like grew up with him, everyone grew up with like, the Tsunami guy. And it's just amazing to see that, like people like you grew up with. And then I met, like I said, a few of the Power Rangers, and then I met the cast of like Silent Hill, Resident Evil, a few of them. And then I met a few Japanese bands like at SabatonCon. They do Q&As, and there's been a few bands that was like Broken by the Screen. There was Candy Syrup, Selena or something like that. Can't even say her name because it's some Japanese name. And then there was like Kaza, and then there was one of the guys he's a musician. He does music for Silent Hill, and they all speak Japanese, but they're translators, and they love my questions. They're like blown away, and they're like, "What? I've never been asked this. I love Arizona." They tell all their friends in Tokyo, Japan, come to Arizona. This interviewer's here, dude. This guy asking the coolest questions, and even the Soundbeat HD, the singer I think kind of looks like me. After I did all the Q&A session, he even saw me in the crowd and we were hanging out. Even though I couldn't speak his language, he knew that I was a cool guy, and it meant the world to me that he was hanging out with me, because it was cool. Because these dudes are from Japan. I love Tokyo. I love Japan. I love Asia. And then I love the Middle East. Because my uncle lives in the Middle East. Also lives in the Philippines. I love those countries, the culture, and then I love shopping. So I really gotta go to Dubai one day. I love Dubai, the big skyscraper. And then Philippines, some of my favorite movies ever were made in the Philippines. I love it. But in all reality, I feel like you're in the industry, you gotta love every country, because you can't do this if you have any hate against country. You can't hate any country. Maybe, look at, I understand politics, and sometimes things get political with countries, but you go to a country, you don't look at that. You look at the people who got dreams like you, and you try to learn their stories, and that's what it's about to me. Like, for example, Brazil, they got this company called Sad Station. They got all these great artists who kind of sound like, kind of like Lil Peep, Lil Tracy, Lil Xan, and stuff like that, which I got to meet Lil Xan. Nice, humble dude. Such a nice dude. But yeah, you got companies like that in Brazil called Sad Station, and they're not getting recognition because, people hear bad things about these countries. But I feel like you got to put yourself out there. Sometimes you got to go to these countries and give them a shot, because you never know what you get. Because there's even a lot of Chinese artists that are great. I haven't been to these countries, but I know about the music. I know about the bands, because I'm researching it. And it's just, you gotta be open to different styles of music. I even like some country, like Florida Georgia Line is my all-time favorite country band, because they're like me, they incorporate many different styles. But they have the rap, they have the country, and they have the R&B and the auto-tune. And that's so cool. Like Florida Georgia Line is another dream interview. And then you got people like Motions and White, and there's another band that I'm really inspired by. They incorporate industrial, like Nine Inch Nails type music into gothic, alternative rock. And it's just so amazing what they do. Then they got their, one of their guitar players, he's got kind of looks like the Joker, and it's so cool to see bands like that when they wearing all the cool makeup and stuff like that. It's really, it's just really a remarkable thing. And then at the same time, I love toys. I got to meet Todd McFarlane once, and it was amazing because he over the years when I was a young kid, I'd always buy toys at Toy Store. So I got to meet him years later, and the only autograph I got from him was at his store. They closed down. It used to be by Gila River Arena in that complex, and it was Todd McFarlane Toy Store. They closed it down. It breaks my heart because they had a lot of great toys. So I got, they were selling it in the store. It's a Guitar Hero toy. He autographed it. Years later, Gila River Arena, I met him. I got a selfie, no interview. I just got a selfie, and it was really amazing because he was the reason why I liked toys as a kid. He made the best action figures, Spawn, all these different superheroes. He knew how to make toys. And then during that one, rest in peace, Stanley, I got to meet Stanley. Even though he didn't say a word to me, I got to see his Q&A. And even today, we're inspired by superheroes. Because everyone be superheroes, but at the end of the day, those superheroes, that's not a real superhero. A real superhero is somebody who will push somebody to a better path and who will inspire regardless of their living situation. And that's why I would love to go to other countries and get to know musicians' stories, because I don't care what country it is. I want to see the artists out there, and I want to help them out. I would love for them to reach out to me, and I don't have the money to go there, but I would be honored if they flew me out to their countries. I would love to be their video guy, interview photos, and I don't care about the money. I just want a way to get there. You know, I can't afford to get out there, but I would be honored to help those countries, any musician, any country, you know. I would be honored to, because I understand other countries, they don't have a person like me. So their bands and musicians crash and fall because they don't have that media. They don't have that media that is important to a musician. Over the years, a lot of people may think, you know, the interviewing hurts the musician. It doesn't hurt it, especially when it's someone like me. My intentions is to show people, these people, the goodness about them, the humbleness about them. I want you to love these people more. I want you to throw more money at them. I don't want you to like hate them. That's not why I do the interviews. I do it for all the right reasons. And I think a lot of bands don't give me that media pass or let me interview them because they don't, you know, they don't see that. And I want them to know that I do this because I want people to see the humbleness. It's all about being humble. I can't stress that enough. I mean, that's the number one thing. Even if people are mean to you, be humble. And that's the thing that people know about me. There's been so many people, they were mean to me. Even in relationships I've had, you know, they were mean to me. And I'm like, well, I don't want to yell about it. I don't want to fight about it. Let's just talk this over. I'm always down to talk everything over and try to have an understanding to why they don't like me. I want to know. You know, like personally, if you're a musician and you think something about me, I really want to know, you know, be upfront with me. Tell me why you don't like me. I mean, let's talk about it, bro. Like, I got nothing against you. I respect your craft, and this goes to anybody in the industry who's ever done me any wrong. I respect what you do, but you don't like me. I don't want to fight about it. I just want to know why. Because I'm sure I could help you understand. You know, I'm sure we could come to common ground, and then you could understand me more, and then we could get past it. I mean, if it's just because you think I'm a stalker, that's not what I'm doing. I'm here because I want the fans to give you more money. I'm trying to help you, you know? And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help these bands, musicians. I'm not trying to make them lose money or make them look bad or try to be super fanboy, because that's not what I am. I'm doing this because this gets me out of bed in the morning, and the joy that it brings to people's faces when they comment on videos from other countries where they got nothing. They're sleeping on the ground. They're sleeping on... I've been to Cabo San Lucas since Mexico once in my life, and that was life-changing. And I was on a cruise ship. My mom, my Aunt Rose went. And what happened was, at the time, you know, my girlfriend at the time, I wasn't able to talk to her for the whole time, like 2 weeks. And I was not able to talk to her. And I appreciated the things around me. And that's when I started. That's the first time I started filming and doing my YouTube career right there, was during that time. I think maybe it was around 2000, same time, probably 2009 or so, probably 10. But that's when I started doing YouTube videos, because I had appreciation. Before that, I didn't do videos and YouTube videos. So it all started out with that cruise ship. And I would just document when I said I'd do little videos here and there, pictures here and there. And it was because one day, when I do get married, I could show my kids, this is the life I had, and this is the life I'm still living today, but this is where I started at. You know, I started out being on a cruise ship, taking videos, doing pictures, and then just filming and pictures as much as I could. And that was on that trip. And I was terrified of going on that cruise ship. I was shaking. But then, like, I got a motion sickness bracelet. I relaxed. But then I remember, you know, the first day we docked, I don't know, it was in Ensenada, Cabo San Lucas. We had to get on a smaller ship to go to Cabo San Lucas, because it's like more an island. And the big ship couldn't dock because there was no dock at the time. I'm not sure if there's a dock now. I've been back since. But I had to get on a small ship, and it was kind of rocking back and forth. I filmed the whole experience. I was scared, okay? That shit was scared. I'm like, man, I think the ship's going to go in the water. I was panicking. But you can't tell in the video. I just played all smooth, doing some video, you know, doing some pictures. I'm like, in my head, I got to appreciate this experience. But I remember walking around town, and these people's only income were selling their stuff. They would be selling necklaces, toys, you know, Jeff Hardy, WE stuff. You know, WE, I really love WE because, I mean, my dad, that's how we bonded. We would go to garage sales, and we would just buy random junk. It didn't matter what. That was just our bond. We would just go to garage sales and watch wrestling. Every time I got out of school, I was like, hey, Dad. Like, yeah. It's like, let's watch the WWE. And we would watch that, you know, because when he was younger, you know, and I was younger, you know, we kind of did some play wrestling. And, you know, it was amazing to see that over there in Cabo San Lucas. The people were selling WWE stuff. It was bootleg, sure, but that was their only income, or necklaces, or gum, you know. Of course, I bought a few things, and I remember walking around, and there was this area where it looked like it was for dogs, and it was all fenced off, you know. It was like a little area for dogs, but there were little kids there. I'm like, man, it hurts, man. It hurts to see that, because it's like, I really want them to be in houses, but there's people like me. I would like to go to countries and see, when I see people like that, I'm like, hey, I want to give you a record deal, man. Like, I'm pretty sure you got some art in you, and it's like, I want you to have a better life. I want you to have a house, you know? Like, I want you to have what I have. I'm sure, like, you know, I'm sure you have a story too. You know, it's like, it's hard, but then it makes you appreciate what you got. And, you know, understand what you do, the YouTube and the interview and the videos could help other people. And I want to help other people in other countries. I want to give them the opportunities that the comments, and they say, I got nothing, man. This is all I do in my life is watch his YouTube video. This guy's the only reason I stay alive. If I didn't watch his YouTube videos, I would kill myself. And it's like, when I read comments, like, it breaks my heart. I want to give them a hug, and I just want to say, like, I want to help you out. I want to help you be in a position and reach the level you want. I want to have my company more together, and I do want to build a team. And I want us to go to these other countries, and I want to sign artists, and I don't want to be based around money. I want it to be based around talent, and because I want people who got nothing, I want them to have something, and I want them to have a house and not live like dogs, and not live in cages, and just not live on the ground, and have a house to sleep in, and the little kids not get sick and die. You know, seeing that Columbus Lucas, Mexico, it makes you love your life more. And over the years, I met people who, you know, lived in such bad situations. You know, they were sleeping in abandoned houses, and it's like, I want to help these people be something. I want them to have a house. I want them to live their dreams, because I know everyone has dreams, because it's what keeps us alive. As a little kid, it's all about our dreams. You know, as a kid, I remember the first time, I originally just wanted to be an author, honestly. But then it came to, in Garter Lakes, there was this job fair, right? And what happened with that job fair is this Christian rock band, Stella Kirk, came in. And it was a guitarist and his wife, and they were married. And they were talking about how it feels to be on the road touring. And I heard their stories. I'm like, I want to be a musician. Like, I still want to write stories, but I want to be a musician now, because this is so amazing. Because you know, he was saying how many people inspired, you know, how many people he was inspired by, and you know, how many people's lives he changed with it, and all the great adventures. And it's like, it's amazing. You know, since 2019, I recently kind of started touring on my own. You know, taking a Greyhound or Flixbus, you know, to another state. You know, I did Vegas and California a few times, like Anaheim, and Sacramento, and LA. I love LA, and I went out to LA to see Wicked Phase. And the coolest thing about LA was, everywhere you go, every coffee shop, there's somebody doing music, or a videographer, or somebody who's an artist, and it's really cool. And then, like, Anaheim's beautiful. You know, I went to the Chain Reaction. They were nothing but humble. The staff were really humble, and it was beautiful. Like, they knew I was waiting for the musician, and they respected it. They were like, wow, you know, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from Avondale, Arizona. Like, I came over to Avondale, Arizona for this. And, like, you know, they didn't hassle me. They didn't try to tell me to leave. And it was really amazing. And then in Sacramento, unfortunately, the following year, our show got canceled because the drummer got sick. But I still had a good time. I met a few good friends over there. I actually got a really best friend in, you know, Sacramento. And it was really cool to meet that person while there, even though, you know, I didn't get to see the concert because it got canceled. I got to meet a lot of great people, and I had a really good time looking at the architecture, because I love architecture too. And then days in Vegas, I went to Vegas. You know, I went there on my own, and that was a beautiful experience. And to go to a Coachella type festival for the first time, and no Jumper crew be there, and Niagara car, you know, crew to be there, was really, really remarkable experience, because it's like, you think you would never be that close to them. So it was really cool, and seeing all these big names like, you know, Young Thug and Future Amigos, Lil Tracy, all on one show together. it was really remarkable. And I was really upset I missed Kid Laroi because I didn't see his set. But he wasn't that big. I'm really, really proud how big he was. But that was like the last time I saw Juice WRLD. And I did get to meet Juice WRLD because I was backstage. And when he was on stage, when he walked off stage, I did a selfie video. I'll cherish that video forever because Juice WRLD is one of those artists that there'll never be another one. Rest in peace, Juice WRLD. It was great. And it's sad to see the fallen heroes. I mean, there's been a lot of fallen heroes throughout the years, and I really want to talk about them. I want to talk about Kurt Cobain, Nirvana. He was such a humble person, really inspired me. DMX, we lost him recently. That was sad. Me and my brother, my nephew, and my mom, me and my dad, we all bonded to DMX music. So it's sad I never met him, but I was honored to live during his timeline. And another musician, he never really got that big, but hella sketchy. He was so humble from what I heard. It was sad. And then Little Peep, and then Paul Gray of Slipknot. I love Slipknot. I've heard nothing but good things about them. And their music is really, it's amazing how you incorporate the horror culture with the rock. And it's amazing. And then there's Dimebag Darrell, and that was really sad. And then there's Casey Jones of Hawthorne Heights, the reason why I do screamo, emo music. And why I fell in love with doing screamo music. That was a tragedy, tragic, And then there's, there's just a lot of great musicians lost. Even, Mo, it's like MO3 or something like that. He was a gangster rapper. And, that was sad. It's sad when we lose gangster rappers because I know a lot of people don't respect their background, but, like, they got deep, inspiring message behind them. Like, I know people, are intimidated by the gangster rappers, but their stuff is deep. It's true, man. Like, sometimes the streets be tough, and it's like, you really feel the stories. Like, for example, Polo G and Lil Durk, they really are good storytellers like Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. So, it's crazy when we lose, gangster rappers because gangster rappers do matter. Like, I'm not saying the gangster stuff will not glorify being a gangster. I'm just saying, the stories they have to tell, it helps people to lead a better life, and it helps people on that, living that life. It helps them to survive. I'm not going to judge anybody, whether you're a gangster, have an addict, whether you're an addict. You're a good person in my book. As long as you're humble to your community, you're a good person. That's what matters. If you're good to your community, I don't really care about your background, because some of the people I'm closest with, their backgrounds may not be good, but they're good people, and that's what matters to me. And I would say, Polo G, Lil Durk, I've not met, I met Polo G, but I haven't met Lil Durk. But in my books, they're really humble people for what they do for the community. They've done a lot for the community. I know that maybe their background's not good, but you sometimes gotta look past people's past, and you just gotta say, well, what's the humbleness I could find in this person? And that's one of the big things I want to show people in my interviews is these people that a lot of people don't want to interview or talk to because they're scared because what they're affiliated with. I want to show people, well, just because these people are affiliated with their, the life that they live, there's reasons they live the life they live, and I don't know why, but I respect who they are as people, but they are good people. They're not bad people, Just like you're on a bus and you see that person who has who's a druggie, you don't know if that person's a bad person. They could be an addict, but it doesn't mean they're a bad person. Just because somebody is a gangster or an addict, don't make them a bad person. They could be the best, nicest person in the world. So you got to look past their religion and look past their background. And anybody can be humble. It doesn't matter your religion, what you follow, what you believe in. You could be a good person, And that's really what it's about. But back to be inspiring, it's really important when you be in this industry, you want to inspire people. You don't want to do it for the wrong reasons. You don't just want to do it for the money and the woman and the cars and the diamonds. Fashion's a beautiful thing. I love fashion. I love shopping, but that's not the main reason I do this, and I really want to get to the point where people could find me in other countries and I could help them out, give them a platform that they never had. I think everyone deserves to have a platform where they could be heard, because it's a beautiful feeling when you got people behind you saying I support what you do, but at the same time, behind closed doors, they're telling you, like, man, I'm going through some stuff in life. Like, what do I do? You know, like, I'm thinking about killing myself, man. Like, what do I do? I'm like, man, you have a hobby, invest your money, invest your life in it, whether you're broke or not. Just do it. I mean, there's a lot of people who start at home as like the Used, huge band, right? Such good people. I'm friends with them, you know. They started out as homeless on the subway, but they turned their life around. You know, they started out with addiction and being homeless, but they turned their life around, and the music saved them. I feel like you always got to let that thing save you. Just like Gerard Way, I got to meet My Chemical Romance, a few members. That was an honor. I mean, that's the reason why I fell in love with music, was that album, that I Bought You Bullets, You Bought Me Your Love, 3 Cheers, Sweet Revenge, is why I fell in love with music and wanted to do music and wanted to listen to music, was because, you know, it's just the music just inspired me. So with My Chemical Romance, it was really cool to meet them. But Gerard Way used to be an ex-alcoholic, but now he's a father. You know, he's got a few kids with the Lindsay, the guitarist of Mind the Self-Indulgence, which are really humble people. Another great band too, Mind the Self-Indulgence. Great band. And it was great to know both of them. I got to meet Mind the Self-Indulgence. Great people, really, really funny. And then most of the members of My Chemical Romance, really humble people. To me, My Chemical Romance, hand down, is the best rock band in the world. Just 100%. And just the thing about My Chemical Romance is, like, they're great people, but a lot of their backgrounds, you know, a lot of them had addictions and they were alcoholics, but once the music kicked in, they turned their life around. And most of them are fathers now, and I'm proud of them. I'm proud that they turned their lives around. And Gerard Way, eventually, to me, he's the new Stan Lee. He made Umbrella Academy, and it's amazing. His world is amazing, and I love comics too. I love all kinds of different comics. I read those as a kid too, because I love the colored images and just the random sayings, like pow, wah, yeah, you know, it's like they're in a fight and they have all that, like, that interesting stuff, you know. And then, you know, another thing I think that really also matters is that you want to have your own style. You don't want to ever be someone else. You want to be you. When people call you next, No Jumper, Nardwuar, Lil Peep, Blady, Lil Tracy, you know, Lil Xan, or like Tupac, Lil Wayne, Eminem, Machine Gun Kelly, G-Eazy, Yellow Wolf, Youngblood, Doja Cat. You want people to look at you original. You don't want people to not see you as original. You always want to be yourself. It's important to stay in your lane and be yourself. Don't try to be someone else. Don't try to walk in someone else's shoes. Walk in your own. Go through your own trials. You know, just pretty much hold up your own cross. You know what I mean? And just, there's a lot of suffering you have to go through, but you got to keep going. And that's another thing that, you know, the Catholic religion has taught me, is that you're going to go a lot of trials, you're going to go through a lot of suffering, and you're going to suffer a lot, but you just got to keep on going through that path, and you can't give up. Because there's a lot of times you can give up and stop doing this. But the moment you do, not only are you letting yourself down, but you're letting down people you can make a difference to. And that's what I love the best about doing this. I make a lot of difference to a lot of people. And also, I have a memory card from the past at one of the concerts. I was able to save it. You know, I got scratched up, and it's sad. There's a lot of history down the drain, and I would hope one day I could recover that, because there's a lot of great photos of great musicians, and I don't think anybody will ever see it, but maybe one day I'd love to recover that. And that's also another thing why I love doing pictures. I love people seeing the history of it, and they see the expressions, the emotions, because with a photo, it's worth 1,000 words, right? But video, when you have a video, that's worth 1,000,000 words, because that tells a story. You know, if I had a family member and they were going to die, I don't want a photo of them. I want a video of one of their happiest moments, whether it's a friend or family member or somebody I personally knew, whether they're celebrity or not. It just, you know, video matters more. But photos are good too. But if, you know, with a family member, if I had no choice, I'd want to have a video of seeing them happy instead of a photo of them. And ironically, it's so crazy, but I've never been to no weddings or funerals, not yet in my lifetime. But the closest family member I was close to was my grandma. She's really inspired me, inspired my religion, inspired me being humble. I mean, I want people to know me as a humble person. I don't want people to ever think I'm a jerk or come off mean, you know. I know there's been some times when I was at a show and sometimes people come up to me and try to take a picture, but yeah, I'm working. I'm trying to do, film the sets, for the people out there in countries that got nothing to do but watch my YouTube channel. So I'm working for a greater cause, but I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm all for, taking pictures and doing interviews, but I just want people to give me the same humbleness that, that I give them. I want them to give it back to me. It's important about the humbleness. Like, I don't ask to be charged for doing interviews or doing photos or autographs. I'll do it all day for free forever, no matter how big or famous I get or whatever status I get in the industry, because that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that they're humble to me, and I want to hear their stories. That's what matters. I mean, yeah, I do want them to buy my merch to help me out with money, sure, but I don't really want them to pay to meet me. But if I ever had to make, if I ever had to, for whatever reason, because I need extra money, charge people for meet and greets, I'd make sure they get their money's worth. Like Circus Survive, they give you a vinyl, they give you a Q&A session, acoustic session, a photo with them, and a screen printed poster, and a wall flag for $100? Damn, that's a good deal. And a screen printed vinyl. That's a good deal. See, like, that would be kind of like my deals. Like, I would do, like, it would not be the whole meet and greet you're paying for. You'd be paying for the cool merch. That's what you'd be paying for. And I think more bands and musicians should do that for meet and greets. They should put some cool merch in there, because it would be nice for the fans, because a lot of these people, I know a lot of bands and musicians probably don't look at it like this, but I do. I know a lot of these people, that's the only money they have probably for the whole month. They spend their last dime to meet that celebrity or band, and I feel like they should have something to show for it. Maybe they may be living in the hood. I mean, it would be nice for them to at least have a nice wall flag on their wall, instead of not having anything. I mean, they may not even have any money for any merch at the table, but if they're going to spend it to meet somebody, I understand. That's what they're living for. I feel like they should be able to have good merch to put in their rooms, no matter, regardless of their living situation. I feel like that's the important merch, and that's why I definitely support all merch designers. And another thing in terms of press, that's another reason I got into interviewing. I first read into magazines first, not just because of the whole Brian Stars thing, but also read into magazines. I was like, man, this is so cool. And over the years, I've become great friends with alternative press. So it's cool to read magazines like that and be close friends with them. It's really remarkable. And, I try to separate my interviews and have them be, that's the only person in the world who does them. No one else in the industry does interviews like me, but I'm humble about it. I'm not saying people can't do interviews, because they can, but always have your own style. Don't try to steal someone's style. And sometimes with your interviews, you don't want to push it to the wrong limits. You want to sometimes tone it down, and sometimes just don't get too personal. I've seen some people go there. I've seen some interviewers, I'm not going to say their names, they got too personal, and sometimes you got to know when it's too personal and what things to not talk about. And I'm feeling like certain things you don't ever want to talk about with musicians, because they'll be honest with you about what they are, is you don't want to talk about people's sexualities. You don't want to be on that topic. At the end of the day, the musician, artist you're interviewing, that doesn't matter. They'll be on, if they want to talk about it, let them talk to you about that. But at the end of the day, that's not why you're there. And I see a lot of people do that. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't focus on somebody's religious views and, their gender. You should let them be honest. You should let them feel, if they feel comfortable saying. You should push it out of them. And I never do that. I never push down that kind of stuff. I will say, what do they follow? Because sometimes, sometimes I do want to know certain ones. I will say, do you follow, atheism, a religion or science or whatever. Whatever they tell me, I respect it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't put my religion into the mix. I respect what they have. I mean, there is a nice way to ask people, but you don't want that to be your main focus. But you could ask that kind of question. You just want to word it a certain way, but you want to make them feel comfortable. And whatever they say, you respect it. You know, you don't say, oh man, bro, I can't believe you follow this or follow that. You know, you just respect it and you hear it out. But with the sexuality, I don't really think there's any ever good reason to ever ask that kind of question. It's never a question I've ever asked anybody, because you should never ask anyone that. If they want to be honest about what they are, they'll tell you. Like, for example, you know, want people to know me more, regardless of what people think. Yeah, I'm straight, you know, and I'm demisexual. So what that means is the way I connect with women is it's based around if we can have conversation. And that's how I base my friendships with and how I connect with family members. That's how I base my life around. And same thing with, you know, the famous people or celebrities I'd be friends with is if we can communicate. That matters to me. That conversation and that connection matters to me to bond with them in that level. So, you know, that's part of what I always incorporate every time I interview a musician is like, based on their questions, I'm like, can I be this person's friend? You know, is this person really a humble person? Because if I see the really humble person, I do want to be their friend. That really does matter. And, you know, I want people in my life, if I see them being humble and we connect and we conversate good, I want that person in my life. I don't care about their background, I don't care how much money they have. I want to be their friend or business partner. I want to be their friend. And, you know, over the years, other people helped me out. I'm entirely grateful for what people help me out with. But, you know, I've always been out there on the field. You know, I've never been acting high-minded better than anybody else. Even though sometimes some people acted high-minded than me, I never looked down on them. You know, I said, I respect your grind, I respect what you're doing, but, you know, I can make them respect me. But that's how I base, you know, my connections with, whether it's business or friendships or relationships, it's based on if I can conversate with them and if they're a good person. And that's just really important thing. And, you know, another thing I really believe in is I believe not only should men and women, you know, not only should men, you know, have rights, but I really am a strong believer that women should. But I think men and women could both do whatever. It doesn't matter. You know, there's people who be nurses, you know, there's people who be doctors. I don't think there's a gender role in it. I really think that it's really about, you know, you could just do it. And that's what it's about. But I'm also strong about, even though I love fashion, I'm against killing foxes and elephants and endangered animals. Like, don't kill endangered animals because, like, that's beautiful. You know, it's amazing to see endangered animals. I really love animals. They really bring joy to me. You know, my dogs, my cats, my birds I have, ducks I have, you know. I love animals. And I think they bring a lot of joy to people. And it's sad to see animals killed for no reason. It's not funny. It's not cute. It's not cool to wear them as a necklace, you know, like an elephant tusk. That's wrong. I don't support that. And, you know, my spirit animal, you know, is a fox. So it breaks my heart when people be killing foxes or, you know, killing rabbits or pandas for no reason, because these animals are really remarkable and they're amazing. Even when people kill sharks, I know people don't like sharks. It's sad. You know, I don't eat sharks. I never will. I'll never eat ducks. You know, I do love shrimp, but I don't believe in killing, like, rare breeds of shrimp or rare breeds of, like, fish or rare breeds of lobster, because it's sad. I think the world should be able to appreciate these animals and not get robbed of them, because it's sad when people get robbed of these animals because people want to be selfish and put them on clothing, and I'm against that. I want people to know that. And you know, a lot of the hair products I use, I try to always use organic, because I don't believe in animal testing. That's wrong. I don't believe in testing things on rats to see the reaction it gets, or dogs or cats, because it's wrong, you know. And, you know, also I believe that it also breaks my heart to see stray animals. But I think you see a stray animal in a neighborhood, it'd be nice to at least leave food out for them. Maybe it may not be possible for you to give them a house, but it would be nice to, you know, give them a community and just give them love. Because I think everybody in the world and every animal does need love, you know. I mean, that's just what it's about. I mean, love and art, you know, make the world go round. Like music, I feel like, is that language of peace, love, and unity. Like, the world's nothing without music. Like, music unites us. It could stop wars. it could stop arguments, and you know, that's just the thing about music. And then also about tattoos. You know, I see you have a tattoo. You know, I mean, you know, what was the story about your tattoo?
Shiva, the destroyer of the worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
stepping on the demon of ignorance. I thought that was pretty cool. So I decided, you know.
And yeah, that's the amazing thing about music, you know, with the tattoos, is that it fits so good with music, you know, because a lot of people, you know, they look weird at people with tattoos. You know, sometimes you have a tough time working at certain jobs when you have tattoos. People look at you scary. They think you're a bad person. But I've got to know a lot of people with tattoos. They're all tatted out, and they're some of the nicest people ever. Like little Tracy has tattoos on the face, but he's such a humble dude. Like, the dude's like a stuffed animal, you know, that's how nice he is. And, you know, he's the kind of person that he makes a lot of money, sure, but, like, Lil Tracy will be literally the kind of person to get, like, on a city bus. Or he'll just keep a cell phone. You know, he'll be playing football with his homies outside, you know, instead of, like, other stuff. He won't be in the studio 24/7. I think that's what's really amazing about him, is that he's just all around humble. But back to the tattoos. Tattoo art is just such a remarkable art form because it matters. It's just so amazing and fascinating how they do it. Because I know it's for life, but if someone's gonna have it for life, like, I gotta say, do it right. Like, don't have your friends like do a shitty tattoo on you. You know what I mean? Like, I know it might cost a lot more money, but go to a good artist, because tattoos are for life. You know, and people wonder, because all the things I believe, you know, straight edge people usually have a lot of tattoos, and that's that's like a stereotype, you know. But I don't do tattoos or piercings because I hate needles. You know what I mean? So I don't do needles. The needles scare me. You know, needles are a scary thing to me. I don't like needles. I don't like bugs. You know, those are other fears. I don't like bugs, but I respect bugs. I don't kill bugs. If I see them, I let them back outside, you know. And I'm a Scorpio, you know, so I got respect for scorpions. They're scary, though. Scorpions are scary. I mean, damn, they're scary. I've been bit by one before, and that was awful pain. Bit 3 times in the arm, and I don't like scorpions. I mean, they look cool, but I get scared. I see them on the ground, you know. But I'm a Scorpio, so doesn't mean that I like scorpions. I don't. I respect them, but I don't like them. But I remember what was really cool about scorpions was there was this band, and they came to pub rock. They never seen a scorpion in their life, and they're like, they had a black light. They're like, so yeah, is it true, like, that you put the black light on them, you can see them, like, in the dark? I'm like, yeah. He's like, dude, I've never seen scorpions, so I'm looking over the ground for scorpions, because I was like, wondering, like, bro, what are you looking for?
At
He's
Pub
like,
Rock.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, he was a videographer, and he's like, yeah, I'm looking for scorpions. And I think he was like for Whit Lowry, one of those guys, or Token. And he was like, I really came here, you know, I came to Arizona because, like, I want to see what a scorpion is. I'm like, yeah, they're somewhere on the ground. I was like, do you know where they're at? I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm scared of scorpions. I don't want to help you look, man. I don't like scorpions, you know? But it was cool how happy it was just seeing, like, scorpions. And, like, a lot of bands, when they say to come to Arizona, it's like, for the cactuses. You know, a lot of Japanese bands have said that. They're like, we see so many cactuses here. We never see cactuses in our life. It's like, man, I've seen so many cactuses. I hate that, you know? But I remember one time I had a sunburn, and, you know, I knew somebody, and it was a friend, and they cut open a cactus, and they rubbed it on my back, and you know, it's really good. It works as medicine to get sunburn, like if you cut open the cactus, you know. So cactus really is a beautiful thing as medicine, and I definitely am a huge supporter of cutting open a cactus to use as medicine. And then also
really quick.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to do another interview with you.
Yeah.
Would you be down for that?
Yeah.
Okay. So man, unfortunately, I'm running out of time. Would you be down to, like, wrap it up here, and then you know, on our way, you know, once I give you a ride home, we want to talk about how we can keep going with this?
Okay.
Is that cool with you?
Yeah. Ask. I guess just ask me some more questions.
It's crazy. So I actually had a whole list of questions that I had in my head.
Yeah.
And you pretty much answered every single one of them.
Yeah.
I guess one thing I was a little bit more curious about is you started talking about how you go to shows sometimes, and then people look at you as, like, this outcast, I guess, who like goes and does this thing. How do you react to that. I really respect that you don't let it get to you. I think that's awesome. I really respect you for that. I love that you just don't give a fuck what anyone thinks and you just do you.
Yeah.
What do you, how, I guess, what do you think of that? Like, is that, how do you, how do you just push it aside?
Well, I push it aside because, I'll be like, this is what I'm doing. I'm here for work. And it's like, I know they don't understand that, but I'm not going to let them bring me down. Like, I still spend my money to come here like everybody else, because a lot of shows, sure, I'm guest listed too, but there's a lot of shows I'm not. A lot of people don't know that, but I don't get free shows all the time. Some, sure. I get to hang out backstage sometimes, not all the time. A lot of times I'm spending my own money. See, you got to spend money to make money. You can't just not spend money and not make it. You got to spend money to reach the top. But yeah, I mean, I look at them and I'm like, they don't faze me. You know what I mean? Like, it's so funny because some of them at first sometimes they would like turn me down, but then years later, like, man, we've seen you at so many damn shows. Come on, man. We're ready for an interview now, man. We're ready for this. And I'm like, they'll get to that point. They'll get to the level where they respect me, and they'll see my videos on YouTube. They'll see the views come up, and they'll look at the questions, and they'll see why I do it, and they'll eventually understand the humbleness behind it, why I do it, and that's how I look at it. I look at it like I'm not gonna yell at them or cry or make a scene, because some people make scenes like, oh, I'm not gonna make a damn scene. No way. I'm just gonna be like, that's cool, bro. That's cool. Kind of like the, Kevin James and like Jason Mewes, JSI, Bob Times kind of stuff. Kind of like how they approach stuff. Like, it's cool, man. Kind of like that, like Pauly Shore type stuff. I just approach it like in that vibe where it's like, man, I don't care, bro, but I'll prove myself to you, and that's really what this is also about. You got to prove yourself to other people before you can get the big dogs. Some interviewers, they just, they keep on spending and spending money, and they pay to do the interviews. But me, I want people to respect me, and that's what it's about. And I want them to see the views I get, and see the attention I get. And I want them to respect me. And that's what it's about, I know they don't respect me at first, but will respect me eventually, because once they, know my story or why I do this, they'll have a deeper meaning of what it's all about, and they'll understand eventually why. It's just like sometimes, like recently the other day, I'm not going to say names, but there were just some people, they weren't vibing with what I'm doing, but see, they don't know me. I don't understand. You can see this dude out there with a camera taking pictures. Like, they don't know me. They're from another state, so they don't know me. So it's like, I'm not mad at them. It's just, eventually they'll understand why I do it. I do it for all the right reasons. I know there's a lot of people in the industry just do it for money and the clout, the girls, the cars, the drugs. They do it for all that stupid reasons. I do it because I want people to be more of a community. I want this to be a deeper community, because I remember the local scene back in like 2008, 2009, everybody on MySpace would just promote the shows, by sending over messages on MySpace. And it was all a community. It doesn't matter how big your band was, how famous it was. They would even shout out local bands. And even they were treated like a mega star, and I miss those times, and I want it to be like that again. I want everybody to not only make money from this, but I really want people to have the humbleness again, and I don't want there to be beefs, and I want people to just put their differences aside and have unity in this, because it's really important, and that's why it doesn't faze me, it doesn't upset me, because one day they will respect me, and it may take time, but I'm going to wait, and I'm still going to go to the shows. It's not going to stop me from going to the shows. How many times they say no? They can say no to the interviews 1,000 million times. I'm going to go to the shows. I'm going to get the interview eventually. That's going to happen, because they're going to respect me, because I'm doing it for all the right reasons. And I don't think that they were jerks to me. I don't think they were mean to me. I just think they just didn't understand. But they will. At first I get it, You see this dude outside a tour bus, it's like, man, what's this dude weighing out here, man? This dude's just annoying, stalker fanboy. It's like, I get that, but it's like, that's not what I'm doing. I want that band to have more fans, because sometimes I see these bands and they're not as big and recognized anymore, but I want to help them get that recognition again by having some humble stories and some humble fun. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help them get more fans again, because it breaks my heart when they lose fans. I'm like, why are you gonna avoid, why are you gonna abandon that band? Because people are like, man, they switched up the music, they switched up their members. I'm like, man, this is kind of like a marriage. Like, if you are true to the musicians and bands you support, doesn't matter what they switch it up. You got to stay behind them, man. Keep supporting them. Don't just switch up on them. Like, that's some sad stuff, and I don't switch up. So, I mean, I'm 100% legit, and I'm real. That's why it doesn't get to me when people tell me no, and, and I get thrown out of places or in trouble for what I do, because they'll respect me eventually, and I think years later they'll come back and they'll be like, can you do some media for our venue or media for our musicians and our artists? Because I think now they'll understand it's all about the humbleness, and I want to help their business. I support their businesses. Like, I want to shout out a few venues that matter a lot to me, and that's Pub Rock, Marquee Theater, the Van Buren, just all those great venues. Action Pavilion, Gila River Arena. They're great venues, and I feel like the staff are really good people. And then, there's also the Rock in Tempe, there's the Green Room, there's Rialto Theater in Tucson, what was it, 1910 Tully or whatever you call it, and just...
Oh yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of, those venues are just, their staff are really remarkable people. Just great humble people. Like, this Marquee Theater, they've always been so humble to me, and it's so great, and the same thing with Van Buren, it's just great. But Pub Rock, damn, they're just so cool. I mean, they're honestly, more bands should play smaller venues like that. I know they're not maybe a stadium, but like places like Pub Rock, just beautiful staff. I think more bands and musicians should look at how nice the staff are. Also, Celebrity Theater, they got nice staff, and Arizona Federal Theater got nice staff. And it's great to, when you go to a venue, you got nice staff, they see you doing your thing, and they're like, they put you aside, like, man, I hope you meet this man. I hope you meet this band. I hope you meet this musician. I'm really rooting for you, man. And sometimes they even bring them out to you, and that's cool. When the venues bring them out to, like, hey, man, this fan, man, he really wants to meet you, man. And, they call me a fan because, I'm there for business, though, but it's all good. I'm not mad. And they bring them to me. They bring them right to me, like, hey, and then they're like, dude, we saw you waiting the whole day, man. It's so hot out here. You got your hoodie on, bro. Are you crazy? I'm like, man, no, it's just style, man. I gotta promote, and I always promote everything I wear. Like Vans. I love Vans. And Lil Tracy hoodie. And Brat Boy made my jeans. I gotta promote it. And Samsung, I use for all my interviews. It's always been Samsung and only Samsung. So please, Samsung, give me a sponsorship, because I love Samsung. And I always gotta give a shout out to those businesses and companies, because they get you places. But also the Fix in Tempe and in Phoenix, those two places, I mean, wow, they were great people, and it's sad to see them go. And a lot of venues, like One Place and Sets, I didn't get to go, but they really brought community together, and I support all those, what was it, One World or whatever it was called. And there's like a lot of those other off-the-wall art gallery places and tattoo shops to be having shows at. And I support the grind, because it's really remarkable. And there's this other venue I went to recently called Kickback, and it's a great place. I love it. It's got the underground vibes. I love that place. And then there's in California, Echoplex. Echoplex is a beautiful venue, really remarkable venue. And then there's like over there, same complex as the Kickback, there's Home Invasion Studios, and the owner of that, he's part of Valley Club, the rap group. He's part of that crew. He's a humble dude, but his studio, it's kind of like a performance. It's like a concert venue in there. It's so cool. Like, I had a chance recently to see two members of Cosmic Click record a song there, and that experience was cool. And the nice thing was I had no ride home, and my mom couldn't come get me. I couldn't take a bus. I couldn't even walk home. And I'm like, hey, I'm down on my luck. Like, is there a way you give me, a ride home? They gave me a ride home. And it's cool to, when people help you out with that in the industry, you'll remember them forever. And I think that's what's important, is you got to remember through the way who helped you out. Because once you get to that stardom, that mega stardom, you want to bring them with you. You don't ever want to forget all the good things and nice things people have, done for you. Like, because of Attila, I've got to meet Twisted at ICP, and you would think you would never get an opportunity like that, because they're really humble people, ICP and Twisted. It's cool the experiences you get, but basically what they tell you is, we give you this experience because we see that first. They be honest with you. Like when I first met you, they're like, I just thought you were a fan, but now I see that you are a part of this industry, and that you do care about us as people, and you do want us to be successful, and you don't want us to lose fans, and you want people to see who we are as people. And when musicians tell me that, it touches my heart. When they say at first they just thought I was like a stalker fan, and then they're like, we actually see who you are now, so we're gonna start giving you all access media pass, because these musicians and these bands need you, because you're helping our industry stay together. And I don't ever want the industry to die. And even during the whole COVID-19 thing, I was helping out bands and musicians as much as I could, with promoting their music and giving shout outs, because every little thing you do helps them out. But the ones you look up to, you don't ever want them to lose fans. And sometimes, even if they get to a level where they're very cocky and they want nothing to do with anybody, they will eventually get to being humble again. But you just gotta keep rooting them on and not give up on them, and then they'll remember you. And then because of that, they'll be like, yeah, okay, I'll work with you. And the most famous person who follows me on Twitter is The Weeknd. It's not like a brag thing, but it's just because I think he just admires that I'm a real person, and that's just like surreal, because he's the biggest R&B singer in the world. But once you're in this industry, it doesn't matter how much money, how much fame you got. No one's more famous than anyone else. We're all in this because we want to change people's life, and the people ain't got nothing. We want to give them a reason to live and love life. Like, always love life, even on your saddest days, because you only get one life, and you gotta live it to the best you can, and just sometimes, don't have regrets, and just sometimes just jump into the wave. At first, like, that kind of reminds me of like when I started crowd surfing, because I'd done that shows before too. I was scared, but it really helped me with living life. You just jump in there, and then people will just steer you in one direction, and just kind of just go to the direction. Don't be scared, and you just can't be scared. And I know soon here I'm gonna face a fear of going on a plane, and once I get past that, there's more opportunities that I could do to help people out. And and I just want to help as many people as I can. And sometimes you can't let fear hold you back, and I'm definitely going to start trying to do that, because when you do this, there's certain fears you can have, and there's certain fears you can't. Being scared of a plane, you can't do it and make it in this industry, because you need to travel if you want to be someone like me, because you got to reach as many people's hearts as possible, and you got to change as many lives as you can. But you got to take a plane and boats and trains. You have to do the travel, and I'm ready. I'm ready to help out bands and musicians, and you're able to fly me there, get me a place, I'm down to come. I don't want no money from you. I just want to wait there. I can't give myself there. I want to help you. I want to give you a better life, because my platform can. And a lot of people look at subscribers like, well, all this dude got 1 million subscribers. That doesn't matter. What matters is not even the views. It matters that you're touching people's lives. And sometimes you don't even know how many people's lives you're changing, because not everybody has access to YouTube or internet. So it could just be a word of mouth, and you could have 1 million fans from another country, but it's all by word of mouth. But they don't know you because they've got internet. Not everybody has internet. So, I also want people to know, don't be discriminated by your followers that you have on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or TikTok. Just know that you do have fans, you do have people who care, and you just need to look at it like that. But your main priorities every time you do this should be, how many lives and how many people can I inspire today? How many people can I make happy today? And how much humbleness and unity and peace can I bring to today? And that's what my number one goal is to doing this, because also I'm not only a musician, but I want to inspire, because, I do play guitar and DJ also, and tons of recording and behind the scenes stuff like audio production, producing, mixing and mastering, concept designing of the music pretty much, but at the same time, really, I'm close to my family. I love my mom and my dad, they've done so much for me over the years, and it's a beautiful thing, it's great, because honestly, God, I'd be nothing without my mom and dad. I mean, they've done a lot, and I've gone to a few shows with my dad, like 30 Seconds to Mars, Monster Truck Show, a few horror movie conventions, and it was great to have him there, his support. And my first shows I went to, I had that support. I had my mom and my dad with me. I didn't feel embarrassed, because you have your support, your mom, your dad, or any family member, you got everything. Like my uncle's like my favorite family member right now, because he messaged me every day, like all these random memes on Facebook. And it may be a little thing, but it's something, it means something. And I'm 100% happy that he messages me every day and checks up on me every day. And he sometimes has tough love. He's like, need to make money, and it's like, I'm working on that, but it's like the humbleness matters more, not the money. It matters about how humble and how many people you inspire, because that's what matters. The money will come. It will come, trust me. You do this, money will come, and that does matter. Money does matter, but the number one thing matters is how many people can inspire and change, and that's what matters. And also you have to understand that we have anxiety, so sometimes it's hard for us sometimes to have things lay out right, or just showcase what our intentions are with what we do, because sometimes there's anxieties, people mistaking us for something different, because I'm a hyper person, so I could understand sometimes some people seeing me in that kind of view. They can see kind of this crazy guy is waiting to meet me, this hyper crazy guy, but it's not. I want people to be, inspired by me. And that's really, not just inspired by me, but I want people to be inspired by other people. And I want the bands, musicians, and artists of all art, doesn't matter what kind of art it is, whether it's tattoos, clothing lines. I want people to support them, and I want people to understand who they are as people. And I think it's really important that we do support our businesses, stores, concert venues, and clothing lines, and independent companies, whether they make stickers, keychains, bootleg items, it doesn't really matter, hair products, I think it's important we definitely support that, because we don't have enough of that support. And I do support partying. I party in my own way, and that's definitely a part of it too. It's fun to have fun, but to me, partying is just having fun. But to me, every show, every event I go to is a party to me. You gotta live life like a party. It's not all about drugs and the woman and the cars and money. To me, partying means a good time, and how many people you can inspire, and how many people they can inspire. And whatever they're from, they could go back and they can inspire those people to just love life more, because life is hard, man. There's a lot of crazy shit in life, and I don't want to get into that, but life is hard, so we gotta stay humble. We gotta stay up, and we gotta love each other and not hate each other. There just can't be no hate. And I support all the movements, because I'm not racist. I love all races. I love every country. I love every nation, every little island, every continent. I support it, and I'd love to go to all those places one day. Even though I might be a little scared, because maybe some of the weather might be a little intimidating, but I'm sure I could get past that. With the humble people, you get past anything, and they can help you through the greatest storms in life. And all the artists I showcase are humble people, and that's why I want people to support them and love them as much as I do. And just like companies like Apple, I really love iPod, because a lot of my music I jam to, you know. I mean, you have any other questions for me?
No, actually, I feel like this is a good place to end. How do you feel about you know what you said, or is there? I guess, is there anything else that you like really feel you need to? I mean, and again, we're gonna do another interview if you're up to it. So maybe we can save it for then, or what?
Well, I guess I guess I have some other things to add.
Sure.
I guess at the end of the day is, you know, fashion does matter, and being someone in this industry, you gotta have your own fashion, and you gotta support independent companies. I mean, I love the big companies, don't get me wrong, but try to go independent. Like, there's this company called Nae's Garden. I think it's Nae Garden, and it may be a lot of money, but like, the dude hand sews it and stitches it, just like Rat Boy stitched these for me. He painted it for me, and it's just like, we have to support local clothing companies. Like, as a somebody who's in the industry, you got to support your local businesses and companies. I can't stress that enough. And you even support people who just have dreams and ideas. Like, just get in a room and just say, what's your idea? Let's make this a reality. Like, you could really make anything a reality if you just put your mind to it and go at it. And sometimes there's things in your way. You just got to sometimes just push that stuff out of the way, and you got to go for it. You're going to get people not liking you and hating you, but they'll respect you eventually if you keep going on. And you always also want to shout out the companies you use. Whatever hair product is, you want people to support them because it's important, you know. The products I use in my hair, that's important because, you know, it's good to smell good. So you want people to know that, and not as a bragging way, but to smell good, you know. Soda brings me joy, so I love Pepsi and Dr. Pepper Fanta because it kind of inspires me. I get inspired when I be drinking that soda and stuff like that. And, you know, hot Cheetos, beef jerky, Twinkies, you know, it inspires me, and it brings a lot of joy. It brings people together, it brings families together for holidays. And, you know, it's not wrong to support companies like this because they bring families together, you know, and I don't even think it's wrong to support, you know, beer companies because they bring families together. I mean, even if you don't support the alcohol about it, you could support that it's bringing people together. And that's really what matters again. No matter what you're doing, what religion, what group you're part of, what race you're part of, what matters is bringing people together. You know, that's what it's all about. It's good to bring people together. And, you know, sometimes some people, they're good at one thing. Doesn't matter, you can't be good at multiple things. You should never just say, well, that's it, I'm done, I'm doing music, that's all I want to do. With me, it was never that way, you know. And it was always about jack of all trades. And also, you want to be as honest as you can, but you do want to keep some things in the closet sometimes. Sometimes there's things about, you know, we all have skeletons in the closet. Sometimes we just don't want to talk about. And there's some things people should never know about anybody. It's not fair. It's not right. And like I said, some boundaries shouldn't be pushed. And some things you should never know even about the person you're married to. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, there's some demons in the closet and skeletons in the closet that just, you gotta lie bare, and you gotta have respect, no matter if you're married to them, your family member, your friend. And we gotta all respect and love each other to keep this industry together, and that's my goal. And I want as many people can help me out as possible on that. And I want people to take me seriously and know that I'm not just about the girls, money, cars, party. I'm about inspiring, and I want to change the world. I want world peace. That's what I want, world peace. And, you know, and Samsung's amazing because it helps me with my mission to world peace with the photos and the pictures. And, you know, instruments of world peace, you know, to get me to that peace, you get me that place matter. And, you know, definitely support Getting Angers because I don't ever want to lose my phone because I can't do interviews or photos. And, you know, just, you know, thank you everybody over the years who've been helping me, and I can't wait to do the rest of this documentary because this is going to be really exciting. I'm really excited about this, and I hope we could change the world with this, and I hope we could change the industry. I never want this industry to die. No, never. I support it all. Underground, local, famous, not famous. You know, I support the industry entirely. This industry is a beautiful thing, and anyone help me out over the way, whether you sign my book or photo, autograph, interview, thank you. And I'm happy for the rest of this documentary. So, you know, thank you. It's CM Jizzle Rich King. Let's Switchblade, Little Witchblade, XL Part 2, Vexy, DJ Brad X, Brad Fox, and Brad. That's who I am. Thank you.